Chapter 3356. At this time, in the ancestral god realm, it was filled with a tense atmosphere, as if a storm was brewing. The Skyfire clan was being bullied. This was a major event that could shake the entire central continent. In the central continent, the conflict between the Skyfire clan and the Pang clan was becoming more and more obvious. The Pang clan and the Skyfire clan were fighting each other. Of course, this was just a small fight. The real battle between experts had not happened yet. At this time, the East continent was also filled with the clouds of war. Some people said that he had disappeared for countless years. The ancestor of the Chaos Golden Rock clan, who was suspected to have died in battle in the ancestral god realm, had appeared. This news was to the Golden Crow clan. It was absolutely shocking. If the ancestor of the Chaos Golden Rock clan was not dead, and had returned to the ancestral god realm, to the Golden Crow clan, it was definitely not a good thing. The current clan leader of the Golden Crow clan realized the severity of the problem. The Golden Crow clan also began to take action. In the East continent, from time to time, balls of sun-like flames could be seen flashing across the sky. A terrifying aura spread in all directions. What are those feathered beasts trying to do? Some people guessed. I heard that ancestral god Kang-Q is back. Someone said. I see. The experts of the older generation in the East continent understood. If Kang-Q was not dead, then there would be a good show to watch. The cultivators of the older generation despised the actions of the Golden Crow clan. Now that Kang-Q was back, when he found out the truth of the past, he would definitely attack the Golden Crow clan. The Chaos Golden Rock clan is starting to take action. Some people sensed the undercurrents in the East continent. All the forces in the East continent were watching. One had to know. Kang-Q was an extreme Tao ancestral god back then. He had almost unified the East continent. Once such a ruthless character returned, the Golden Crow clan was definitely going to be in trouble. The Golden Crow clan also began to recall the experts who were scattered everywhere, deep in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. On the towering divine tree, from time to time, a golden light would appear. Every ball of golden light on the tree. It was an extremely powerful golden crow. This was the immortal god tree. He could also see a huge golden bird's nest. An extremely tyrannical aura surged out from those huge bird nests. A nest in a tree. This was the unique way of life of the Gold Crows. As for the leader of the Golden Crow clan, he even built a huge golden nest near the top of the Tree of Immortality. At this moment, the leaders of the Gold Crow clan had gathered in the nest of their leader, discussing how to deal with the current predicament. Is Kang-Q really back? The higher-ups of the Golden Crow clan were still skeptical about it, because they had never seen Kang-Q before. Naturally, he didn't know who Kang-Q was. However, Kang-Q had died in the ancient war. This was a fact that all the experts of the older generation in the ancestral god realm knew. However, now, Kang-Q appeared again. Perhaps this was the handiwork of the chaotic Golden Rock race. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. We have to take them seriously. The current leader of the Golden Crow clan had spoken. The leaders of the Golden Crow clan had gathered in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, while discussing the Kang-Q incident. At the peak of Luoxiao Mountain in the East continent, there were many experts gathered there. The leader. He was the protagonist of this incident. Kang-Q Jiu Fei and the demon god. And old ancestor Luoxiao was standing behind Kang-Q. In the open space in front of Kang-Q, it was an ancient spirit formation platform. Jiu Fei then walked up. Let's begin. Jiu Fei said to Kang-Q. Kang-Q didn't say anything. He just nodded. His face was extremely solemn. There was no suspense. Jiu Fei and Kang-Q joined hands. Once again, the extreme transportation formation was activated. Soon, the transportation formation in the Chaos Demonic realm started operating automatically. Then, a passage connecting the ancestral god realm and the Chaos Demonic realm appeared above the formation platform. Gu Fei directly sent a fire messenger talisman into the passage. Not long after, the other side responded. Another fire messenger talisman rushed out from the passage. He directly stretched out his right hand. That fire messenger talisman immediately fell into his hand. The next moment, he knew the message contained in the fire messenger talisman. An hour later, 3 extremely powerful figures crossed the boundary and arrived. They were 3 figures with soaring demonic energy. Each figure gave off an oppressive feeling that made it hard for one to breathe. They were the 3 great puppet demons that Gu Fei subdued in the Chaos Demonic Realm. Chaos Demonic Ape, Great Yin Demonic Spider, and that Dragon Head Demon. The 3 great puppet demons were extremely powerful. That was without a doubt. They were all ruthless figures that could use the power of the extreme Tao. The arrival of the 3 great puppet demons. Even someone as strong as old ancestor Luoxiao was terrified. After the 3 great puppet demons walked out of the void, demonic experts crossed the boundary and arrived one after another. For a moment, the demonic energy above Luoxiao Mountain was vast and mighty. The terrifying demonic aura spread in all directions. Fortunately, Gu Fei had already used the mountain and river cauldron to seal the void in this part of the world. He isolated all auras. He didn't let the demonic energy spread out. Otherwise, the demonic energy that appeared on Luoxiao Mountain would be sensed by other experts in the East Continent. At that time, it wouldn't be a good thing. The master of Mystic Demon Mountain led a group of experts to arrive. For a moment, Luoxiao Mountain was densely packed. It was filled with cultivators of Mystic Demon Mountain. This time, Gu Fei was going to conquer the extraterrestrial demon region. But he was prepared for everything. The experts of the Chaos Demonic Realm crossed the boundary and arrived. They all felt a little uncomfortable. However, the disciples of Mystic Demon Mountain were gathering quickly. They were like a well-trained army. Everyone who witnessed this scene was shocked beyond words. "Okay, let's go," Gu Fei said to everyone. Then, Gu Fei took out a picture. That was the mountain and river diagram. He directly took out the mountain and river diagram. Everyone on the mountaintop was drawn into the map. Then, Gu Fei and Kang Qiu, and the demon god and old ancestor Luoxiao. The 4 experts soared into the sky. They rushed in the direction of the extraterrestrial demon region. The 4 experts entered the starry sky. The extraterrestrial demon region was naturally outside the sky. Gu Fei and the others flew in the sky for a few hours. They entered the depths of the starry sky. Then they flew for more than 2 hours. They finally saw the extraterrestrial demon region. A powerful demonic aura came from the continent in front of them. It's indeed a demon region. After Gu Fei sensed the demonic aura, he couldn't help but be moved. No wonder this force could exist all the time. It seemed that there was a big demon guarding it. Without hesitation, the 4 experts immediately rushed towards the black continent that stretched as far as the eye could see. Just when they broke into the extraterrestrial demon region, a low roar suddenly came from the depths of this infernal domain. That's Chapter 3357. Just like the heavenly battlefield, the extraterrestrial demonic territory was formed after the ancient war. However, the extraterrestrial demonic territory was much scarier than the heavenly battlefield. It was also a broken heaven and earth void. It was a region full of holes. From time to time, chaos holes would appear and devour the living beings in the vicinity. Sometimes, it wasn't safe for living beings to walk on the ground. The perfectly fine ground would suddenly split open and turn into a bottomless abyss. Whether it was flying or walking on the ground, the extraterrestrial demonic territory was filled with unknown dangers. It was also because of this that the major forces in the ancestral god realm weren't willing to attack the extraterrestrial demonic territory because it was an arduous and unrewarding task. The major forces in the ancestral god realm weren't willing to bear the losses of attacking the extraterrestrial demonic territory. It was also because of this that the extraterrestrial demonic territory continued to exist. At this time, Gu Fei, Kang Qiu, and the others broke into the extraterrestrial demonic territory. The 4 experts didn't restrain their aura. The powerful aura of an old ancestor emanated from their bodies, shocking the entire region. At this time, a deep roar came from the depths of the extraterrestrial demonic territory. Then, an extreme demonic might surged out from the depths of the extraterrestrial demonic territory. This is, Gu Fei and the others were shocked. They didn't expect the great demons in the depths of the extraterrestrial demonic territory to react so violently. They used their extreme demonic power right from the start. Gu Fei and the others stopped in the sky. At this moment, endless demonic aura surged out from the heaven and earth. The entire heaven and earth became so dark that they couldn't even see their own fingers. These guys, Kang Q couldn't help but curse. The demons in the depths of the extraterrestrial demonic territory actually sealed the entire heaven and earth with their power. Pitch-black demonic aura shrouded the entire heaven and earth. If one wanted to enter the extraterrestrial demonic territory, they would have to disperse the demonic aura. Swoosh. Gu Fei looked at the rumbling demonic aura. He flipped his right hand and a black saber appeared in his hand. He held the saber with both hands and with a roar, he slashed forward with all his might. An extremely sharp saber chi immediately rushed out from the black saber in Gu Fei's hand. In an instant, it rushed thousands of miles, as if it could split the whole world into 2 halves. The demonic energy that enveloped the entire area was cleaved apart by Gu Fei's attack. The endless demonic energy dissipated and a blade mark that was millions of miles long appeared in the world. This, the demon divine master, Kang Q, and ancestor Luo Xiao were stunned by the power of Gu Fei's slash. Clang. At this moment, the sound of a bell rang out. At the instant the bell rang, Gu Fei and the others almost fell from the sky. Their souls were attacked, and their nascent souls almost left their bodies, pulled away by a powerful devouring force. What? Gu Fei and the others were shocked. The sound of the bell was like a demonic sound that could take away one's soul. It could confuse one's mind and take away one's soul. After all, they were not ordinary cultivators. They were all old ancestor-level existences. Yet, they had almost fallen for it. It was hard to imagine what kind of demonic artifact the bell was. Could it be the demonic weapon from back then? Kang Q suddenly said. Back then, when the war had reached its climax, a demonic bell had appeared out of thin air. When the bell rang, it had actually devoured the divine souls of tens of thousands of God race soldiers, leaving behind countless soulless walking corpses. The demonic bell almost changed the outcome of the war. However, in the end, the demonic bell only appeared for a short while before it was hit by a supreme god ancestor with a supreme divine weapon. Wasn't the demonic bell broken in the war back then? What's going on? The demon divine master asked in confusion. He had also participated in the war back then and knew that there was a demons expert from the Chaos Demon realm who came with a demonic bell and killed many divine clan experts. At this moment, Gu Fei waved his hand and an ancient cauldron appeared above his head. Buzz. The ancient cauldron vibrated, and a stream of primordial chaos power immediately spread over the ancient cauldron, blocking the demonic sound. Gu Fei and the others suddenly felt their bodies become lighter. The feeling that their souls were shaken and could rush out of their bodies at any time disappeared. Do you want to start a war? At this moment, a voice sounded in Gu Fei and the others' hearts. Humph, we don't want to start a war. We just want you to surrender to us and serve us as your master. There was a vague divine light between Gu Fei's eyebrows. A powerful divine thought directly rushed out from between his eyebrows and spread into the depths of the devil area. What? The demon in the depths of the devil area was obviously very surprised. This guy actually wants to be the master of this place. This is too crazy. This is the devil area that has never been conquered by the major forces of the ancestral god realm for countless years. You only have 2 choices. Gu Fei said. Haha, the demon in the depths of the devil area laughed out loud. I really want to know what our 2 choices are. The demon in the depths of the devil area said with a smile. From the demon's point of view, Gu Fei and the others were simply crazy. They actually dared to come here and cause trouble. Die, or surrender. Gu Fei said very seriously. Is there a third choice? The voice of the mysterious demon in the depths of the devil area continued to ring in Ji Yufei's heart. Perhaps the demon was amused by Ji Yufei. Sigh, it seems that you still haven't realized the seriousness of the problem. Ji Yufei said with a sigh. At this time, the demon in the depths of the devil area fell silent. What's the point of talking to these guys? Kang Q was a little impatient. He wanted to end the battle quickly and settle the devil area as soon as possible so that they could carry out their plan. From Kang Q's point of view, Ji Yufei might be able to conquer the devil area, but it would definitely take a very long time, which was what he did not want to see. Moreover, if it was difficult to conquer the devil area, it would be difficult to carry out their plan. Do you want to end the battle quickly? Old ancestor Luo Xiao said. End it quickly. Beast God said. Only by ending the battle quickly could they start the next step of their plan. They could not waste their energy on conquering the devil area. Alright, then let's end it quickly. When Ji Yufei said that, he directly waved his right hand and the mountain and river diagram immediately appeared in the void. In the next moment, 3 figures that were powerful enough to make the heaven and earth tremble walked out from the mountain and river diagram. Rumble. The entire heaven and earth shook because of the 3 extremely powerful figures. They were 3 extremely powerful demon shadows, each of them exuding a monstrous demonic aura. What? The moment the 3 demon shadows walked out from the mountain and river diagram, the great demon in the depths of the devil area could not sit still. The aura of the chaos demon realm, how is it possible? A monstrous demonic aura rushed out from the depths of the devil area, and an incomparably huge figure appeared in the demonic aura. An extremely powerful demonic aura was emitted from the demonic shadow. The 3 great demon experts that walked out from the mountain and river diagram were the 3 gargoyle demons that Ji Yufei had subdued in the chaos demon realm. Master, who do you want to kill? Chaos demon ape asked Ji Yufei directly. You guys go and beat those demon bastards out of this place. Ji Yufei said. Yes, Master. Chaos Demon Ape accepted the order and rushed towards the demon shadow in the depths of the devil area with the divine yin demon spider and the dragon head demon. In just an instant, Chaos Demon Ape and the others had already arrived in front of the demon shadow. This, the great demon hidden in the demonic aura, was indescribably shocked. He had never expected the other party to be an expert from the Chaos Demon realm. He had been dreaming of returning to the Chaos Demon realm. Did you hear what my master said? Do you want to come out yourself, or do you want us 3 brothers to invite you out? Chaos Demon Ape stared at the figure in the demonic aura and said coldly. An extremely powerful wave of demonic power erupted from his body. You guys are from the Chaos Demon realm. In the monstrous demonic aura, the demon shadow seemed extremely agitated and his voice began to tremble. Nonsense. Chaos Demon Ape said impatiently. This. How did you guys come from the Chaos Demon realm? Can you still go back? The great demon ape said nervously. You talk a lot of nonsense. Chaos Demon Ape said loudly. Then, he took a step forward and the power of the extreme Tao erupted from his body. The surrounding demonic aura was immediately dispersed. At the same time, the divine yin demon spider and the dragon head demon also emitted waves of extreme Tao power. You guys. Seeing that Chaos Demon Ape was about to attack him, the great demon ape couldn't help but feel extremely nervous. It should be known that the 3 demonic experts were all existences that could use extreme Tao power. I guess those guys in the depths of the demon realm are going to be dumbfounded. Old ancestor Luo Xiao said. At this time, there were also extremely powerful demonic experts from other regions of the extraterrestrial demon realm who had come out of their seclusion. They were all alarmed. It seems that the extraterrestrial demon realm isn't weak either. Ji Yufei sensed the aura of many demons. The entire demon realm was huge. No one knew how many demons were hiding in the extraterrestrial demon realm. However, one thing was for sure. There were many extremely powerful demons in the extraterrestrial demon realm. It should be known that the demons in the extraterrestrial demon realm were existences that had survived the Great War in ancient times. They were all ancient guys. At this time, the demonic aura that had been split in half by Ji Yufei's blade gathered again. The demonic aura shrouded heaven and earth in all directions. The entire region was plunged into absolute darkness. Powerful demons began to appear indistinctly in the demonic aura. The other experts of the demon realm had arrived. How is this possible? Did those guys from the Chaos Demon realm finally cross over again? Chapter 3358. The devils in the extraterrestrial devil domain were the experts of the Chaos Devil world who were trapped in the ancestral god realm after the battle back then because they couldn't evacuate in time. These demons came from various forces in the Chaos Demon world. They had no choice but to join forces and retreat to the extraterrestrial demon territory. The so-called extraterrestrial demon territory was actually a fragment of the ancestral god world that was shattered by an expert of the extreme Tao during the war back then. Those demons who were trapped in the ancestral god world were besieged by the experts of the divine race in the ancestral god world and suffered heavy casualties. In the end, they had no choice but to retreat to the extraterrestrial demon territory. This place was filled with danger. Even if a quasi-supreme being were to barge in and trigger the extreme Tao law left in this place, they would be annihilated. Countless demons in the extraterrestrial demon territory dreamed of returning to the Chaos Demon world. At this time, these demons were shocked to the extreme when they saw the experts of the demons from the Chaos Demon territory. How is this possible? A great demon from the extraterrestrial demon territory said with a trembling voice. All the demons in the extraterrestrial demon territory knew what this meant. The people from the Chaos Demon world had come and they could return to the Chaos Demon world that they dreamed of. At this time, the three great stone demons were about to make their move. The Chaos Demon ape took a step forward and a tyrannical aura spread out. The demonic aura that shrouded the entire void was dispersed. Rumble, an extreme force erupted from the body of the Chaos Demon ape. The entire world seemed like it was going to explode. Black cracks that were visible to the naked eye appeared in the void. Stop. Just at this moment, an aged voice suddenly rang out from afar. Then, an old man riding a black bull appeared in the distant sky. The old man was dressed in black and had a head full of white hair. He was holding a wooden staff in his hand. The old man rode on the black bull towards the Chaos Demon ape. Although the black bull seemed to be walking slowly, it was actually very fast. From the moment the old man appeared, it only took an instant for the old man to get close to them on the black bull. When the Chaos Demon ape saw the old man riding on the black bull, he was shocked and looked at the old man in disbelief. Little monkey, could it be that you know me? The old man on the bull looked at the Chaos Demon ape opposite him and said in surprise. Back then, who didn't know of Senior Mojuyo's fame? I was fortunate enough to have met Senior once. The Chaos Demon ape said carefully. Mojuyo, it's actually him. At this moment, Kang Q's expression changed drastically when he saw the old man riding on the black bull. Mojuyo was the most ferocious extreme path demon ancestor in the Chaos Demon realm. Back then, Mojuyo had killed countless divine clan experts. Even a supreme god ancestor was killed by Mojuyo. Mojuyo had earned his reputation by killing. Is he very strong? Ji Yu Fei said. This old man looked like an ordinary old man. His eyes were turbid, without any spirit, and his face was full of wrinkles. He was no different from an old man with one foot in the grave. However, no one present dared to underestimate the old man riding the black bull. Even the great demon that had been confronting the Chaos Demon ape had retreated to the side. He's definitely strong. If Mojuyo was still the Mojuyo from back then, we would probably die here. Kang Q looked at the old man riding the black bull with a solemn expression. It's a pity that he's no longer the Mojuyo from back then. The demon god said. He had heard of Mojuyo's name before. However, some people said that Mojuyo had died in battle. Now, it seemed like those people were just spouting nonsense. Little monkey, where did you guys come from? Could it be the Chaos Demon realm? Mojuyo said. Even an existence like him was extremely nervous. He pricked up his ears and waited for the Chaos Demon ape to continue. The Chaos Demon ape did not say anything. It was equivalent to him agreeing. How did you guys come from the Chaos Demon realm? Mojuyo asked hurriedly. The Chaos Demon ape did not want to lie to Mojuyo. However, he could not say much as his master was still watching them from behind. Seeing the Chaos Demon Ape hesitating, Mojoyo could not help but look behind him. Chaos Golden Rock Kankyu. When the old man saw Kankyu, he immediately recognized him. Back then, Kankyu had met Mojoyo before. However, at that time, Mojoyo was fighting with another supreme god ancestor. Kankyu did not fight with Mojoyo. That was the reason why Kankyu was still alive. The supreme god ancestor who fought with Mojoyo was killed by Mojoyo. If Kankyu was the one fighting with Mojoyo, he would definitely not be Mojoyo's match. Old Mo, I can't believe you're still alive. Kankyu looked at Mojoyo, who was riding on the black bull, and said coldly. Mojoyo was definitely a strong opponent. If they were to fight, perhaps only Jiyu Fei would be able to fight against him. Humph, there are still many things that you can't imagine. Mojoyo said in disdain. It's all you're doing. Mojoyo looked at Jiyu Fei and the demon god and said. So what if it is? So what if it isn't? Jiyu Fei walked forward and said with a smile. I want to know how you managed to do it. Mojoyo looked into Jiyu Fei's eyes and said. He had lived for countless years and his eyelashes were hollow. He could naturally tell that the one leading the group was Jiyu Fei. If he, Mojoyo, did not even have this little bit of eyesight, then he would have lived his life in vain. Haha, what's so difficult about it? Jiyu Fei smiled and stretched out his right hand. A formation platform appeared in his hand. When Mojoyo saw the platform, he was taken aback. So that's how it is. Mojoyo finally understood. So this person had a super formation platform that could teleport across realms. If you guys are willing to submit to me, I'll send you guys back to the primal chaos demon world. Jiyu Fei looked around and realized that there were many demons in the surroundings. These demons were all hidden within the devil chi. All the experts of the demon race were watching. Many devil race experts couldn't help being tempted by Jiyu Fei's words. Haha, Mojoyo burst into laughter as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. In his opinion, Jiyu Fei was definitely crazy. If you don't want to surrender, then let's fight. As Jiyu Fei spoke, the mountain and river diagram floating in front of him vibrated. Then, an army of demons rushed out from the mountain and river diagram. In an instant, banners fluttered in the wind. Countless demons stood in the void. A heart-palpitating murderous aura filled the air. Seeing this scene, even an existence like Mojoyo couldn't help but be moved. He never expected this black-robed young man to be, "Greetings, Master." Under the leadership of Mount Black Demon Lord, 100,000 demons saluted Jiyu Fei at the same time. It was a magnificent scene. Jiyu Fei nodded without saying anything. At this moment, anything he said would be useless. A war was about to break out. Let's discuss this. Let's discuss this. At this moment, a voice rang out from the distance. Next, the demon chi split apart as a fair and plump young man stumbled out. Hua Wuji. When Mojoyo, who was riding on a black bull, caught sight of this young man, he was somewhat surprised. This plump man's name was Hua Wuji. He was one of the oddballs of the outer demon region. Although he considered himself to be a playboy, he had yet to get a single demon girl. However, this Hua Wuji did have a formidable backing behind him. That being said, Hua Wuji's cultivation state and battle prowess weren't weak either. Let's discuss this. Isn't that right? We don't have to fight and kill to settle our problems. Hua Wuji arrived between Jiyu Fei and Mojoyo before saying to the two of them. This fella wants to be the master of the outer demon region? How can we allow that? A powerful being from the outer demon region spoke up. These demons were all prideful and untamed beings. How could they submit to anyone so easily? Wanting the demons of the outer demon region to submit to them was definitely not something that could be done easily. What do you guys want to discuss then? Jiyu Fei looked at the plump Hua Wuji and said with a smile that didn't seem like a smile. I need to know the reason why you guys are attacking the outer demon region. Only then will I know what to do. Hua Wuji said. The reason is simple. We want to conquer the outer demon region and lead the demons to attack the eastern continent. Ji Fei said. He didn't hide anything, and there was no need for him to attack the eastern continent. The moment the demons heard Ji Fei's words, they were instantly energized. One had to know that the reason why they were here was because they were being hunted down by all the forces of the 5 continents. The demons of the outer demon region really wanted to teach those so-called super forces of the ancestor god world a lesson. We can work together on this matter. We don't have to be enemies, Mo Joyo said. At this moment, his originally turbid eyes shone with a brilliant light, akin to 2 cold stars flickering in the dusky sky. Brother Ji, this old demon's words aren't completely unreasonable. If we were to fight with them here, even if we managed to conquer the outer demon region, our strength would suffer. Kang Qiu said to Ji Fei. As the saying goes, injuring 1,000 enemies, injuring 800. Ji Fei understood this logic. Furthermore, Mo Joyo was too mysterious. Even Ji Fei couldn't see through him. Master, at this moment, the Chaos Demon Ape, the Extreme Yin Demon Spider, and the Dragon-Head Demon retreated. They didn't dare to fight with Mo Joyo. Then let's sit down and talk. Ji Fei shrugged and said. All right, straightforward enough. Mo Joyo nodded. Chapter 3359. Ji Fei had originally prepared 100,000 troops to fight against the demons in the extraterrestrial devil region. However, at the most crucial moment, a weirdo like Hua Wuji jumped out. Hua Wuji was from the Chaos Demon Flower Clan, one of the 3 great demons of the extraterrestrial devil region. Before the primal chaos was formed and the world was still being nurtured, everything was variable and anything could happen. Even the heavenly Tao had not taken shape yet. According to legend, the Chaos Demon Flower Clan was formed from a Chaos Demon flower that was born in the primal chaos before the primal chaos was formed. In the distant past, the Chaos Demon Flower Clan was one of the strongest demons in the primal chaos demonic world. Back then, a portion of the clan's experts were trapped in the ancestral god realm. In the extraterrestrial devil realm, the real ruler was not the 3 devil clans, but the old man who was riding a black bull that seemed to be too old to walk anymore. Mo Joyo was a taboo existence in the primal chaos demonic world since ancient times. Back then, he didn't return to the primal chaos demonic world for some reason. Thus, he became the true ruler of the extraterrestrial devil region. Only Mo Joyo had the qualifications to lead the various races and fight against the entire ancestral god realm. If it wasn't for Mo Joyo, all the demons trapped in the ancestral god realm would have been slaughtered by the god race. It was also because of Mo Joyo that the extraterrestrial devil region appeared in the ancestral god realm. At this moment, at the peak of a floating devil mountain in the depths of the extraterrestrial devil region, there was a stone table and a few stone stools under a steel bone demonic tree. Ji Fei and Mo Joyo sat opposite each other at the stone table. There were only a few stone stools around the stone table. Those who didn't have a place to sit stood behind Ji Fei and Mo Joyo. All right, let's talk about our cooperation, Hua Wuji said with a smile. The fat on his body jiggled along with his laughter. You guys want to return to the primal chaos demonic world? Ji Fei looked at Mo Joyo on the opposite side of the stone table and said indifferently. Isn't that obvious? That's right, Dao brother, you haven't told us who you are. Hua Wuji looked at Ji Fei curiously. At this time, all the demons present were looking at Ji Fei, waiting for his answer. Me. Whether it's the Chaos Devil realm or the Ancestral God realm, I'm just a passerby. Ji Fei said with a smile. What? When the other demons heard Ji Fei's words, they were somewhat unhappy. This guy actually refused to tell them his origin. What kind of cooperation was this? This was too insincere. The devil race experts standing behind Mo Joyo were venting their dissatisfaction. Mo Joyo raised his hand, and the leaders of the demons behind him immediately fell silent, not daring to make a sound. Whether it was the Chaos Demon Flower Clan, the Herculean Ox Clan, or the Corpse Demon Clan, none of the experts from the 3 great demons dared to speak. You're not a demon from the Chaos Devil realm, nor a true god from the Ancestral God realm. You're from another great world, beyond the Chaos Devil realm and the Ancestral God realm. Am I right? Mo Joyo stared at Ji Fei's eyes and said. Haha, You're absolutely right. Ji Fei laughed. Everyone was shocked to hear this. This person was not from the Chaos Devil realm, nor was he a true god from the ancestral god realm. He was from another great world. Only the Black Demon Mountain Lord and the others who had followed Ji Fei for a period of time knew that Ji Fei was from another great world. Then guess where I'm from? Ji Fei looked at Mo Joyo and said. Can't guess. Mo Joyo shook his head. Even someone as strong as him did not know how many great worlds were nurtured in the endless chaos. Naturally, it was hard for him to know where Ji Fei was from. Then, can we still cooperate? Ji Fei looked at Mo Joyo and said with a faint smile. Why wouldn't we cooperate? Mo Joyo said. The chance to return to the Chaos Devil realm was right in front of him. He would not miss it no matter what. If he missed it this time, they might not have another chance to go back. He had missed it once in the past, but this time, he did not want to miss it. That's great. Let's talk about our respective conditions. Hua Wuji said excitedly. The conditions are simple. Ji Fei said. Very simple. Hua Wuji was startled. I can roughly guess. Mo Joyo said. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into an old man again. There was not a single trace of devil chi on him. Even Ji Fei could not sense his true chi. This was a phenomenon of returning to one's natural state. Mo Joyo's cultivation was already close to the extreme grade realm, but he still had not taken that step. It was not that he did not want to take that step, but he was once the extreme grade demon ancestor. Once his Dao foundation was destroyed, his cultivation level would fall from the extreme grade realm, and it would be extremely difficult for him to cultivate to the extreme grade realm again. This was also the reason why it was difficult for Kang Q to return to the extreme grade realm. Haha, alright. As expected of a senior. As long as you guys help me conquer the Eastern Continent, I will help you guys return to the Chaos Demon realm. Ji Fei said with a smile. What? The group of demons behind Mo Joyo was shocked. Attacking the Eastern Continent? Given the strength of the extraterrestrial demon region, it was no different from smashing a rock with an egg. Wasn't that asking them to die? The Eastern Continent was not something the other 4 continents could compare to. The Golden Crow tribe of the Eastern Continent was extremely powerful, and they even possessed the Undying Tree, the divine tree of the Eastern Continent. With the Golden Crow tribe's foundation, the extraterrestrial demon region would not be able to do anything to them. Chaotic Golden Rock Kang Q, are you going to settle the score with your sworn brother? Mo Joyo suddenly looked at Kang Q and said. Even though the extraterrestrial demon region was not as powerful as the 5 continents of the ancestral god realm, they were well informed. Back then, the clan leader of the Golden Crow tribe had seized the opportunity when Kang Q was trapped in the Chaos Demon realm and decisively killed almost all of the chaotic Golden Rock tribe. Kang Q snorted coldly and did not reply. He and Mo Joyo were enemies in the past. But now, they were going to join forces. The world was truly fickle. There was no such thing as an absolute enemy or an absolute friend in this world. Everything was dictated by benefits. How about it? Ji Fei looked at Mo Joyo and asked with a serious expression. How else can it be? Mo Joyo replied. Even though his tone was calm, he was extremely excited in the depths of his heart. After staying in this godforsaken place for such a long time, he was nearly driven mad by boredom. Haha. Let's be witnesses. That's great. Hua Wuji burst out laughing. His fats were bouncing along with his laughter. Returning to the Chaos Demon realm was the wish of all the demons in the extraterrestrial demon region. And now, this wish was about to become a reality. The extraterrestrial demon region was definitely not a good place. After being trapped here for so many years, all of the demons were extremely frustrated and needed to vent their frustrations. What plans do you guys have? Mo Joyo asked. At this moment, his mount was sprawled by the side, sleeping soundly. We're planning to use the name of the extraterrestrial demon region to start this war. Ji Fei said. Is that so? Mo Joyo replied nonchalantly. Hua Wuji, I'll leave you to discuss with them. I won't be taking part in this. Mo Joyo said to Hua Wuji. Yes, old ancestor. At this moment, Hua Wuji retracted his smile and his expression turned solemn. For all the forces in the extraterrestrial demon region, attacking the central continent was definitely a huge matter. God knew how many powerful demons had fallen in the central continent. Mo Joyo then bid farewell to Jiu Fei and rode away on his old black bull that was about to fall asleep. This fatty Hua was from the pro-war faction. He couldn't wait for a fight to break out. This was the moment when he was most excited, because he could finally make his move. In the next few days, powerful figures could be seen roaming around the extraterrestrial demon region from time to time. The three great demons and Mo Joyo were mobilizing their forces. However, compared to the peaceful eastern continent, the extraterrestrial demon region was shrouded in an oppressive atmosphere, as if a storm was brewing. Without any warning, in the eastern continent, where the Golden Crow tribe's ancestral land was located, a powerful demonic aura that caused the entire void to tremble suddenly appeared. Demonic attack. Furious roars could be heard from all over the Golden Crow tribe's ancestral land. Then, a powerful force of the Golden Crow burst out from every corner of the ancestral land. Balls of golden radiance rushed out from every corner of the region, charging in the direction of the demonic figure. Buzz. The void suddenly vibrated. A sharp and dazzling golden radiance shot out from the distance, piercing through the demonic figure in the sky. In the next moment, demonic aura circulated, and a powerful devouring force suddenly burst out from the demonic figure. A pitch-black vortex appeared above the demonic figure. All of the power of the divine Tao that was attacking the demonic projection was instantly engulfed. What? The experts of the Golden Crow tribe couldn't help but be shocked when they saw this. At this moment, in the depths of the Golden Crow tribe's ancestral land, a rustling sound came from the dense canopy of the towering ancient tree. Balls of golden radiance were released from the canopy. The true experts of the Golden Crow tribe were alarmed. Swoosh! On top of the immortal tree, a ball of golden light rushed out and disappeared into the void in an instant. Its speed was extremely fast. At this moment, the demonic figure was already engaged in a fierce battle with an extremely powerful expert of the Golden Crow tribe. It wouldn't be easy to determine the victor in a short period of time. However, the news of the demon's invasion had already spread, and the entire Golden Crow tribe's ancestral land immediately became lively. In the entire ancestral god realm, there was only one place where demons existed, and that was the extraterrestrial demon region. Therefore, when the demonic figure suddenly appeared in the Golden Crow tribe's ancestral land, everyone in the Golden Crow tribe knew that the demons from the extraterrestrial demon region had invaded. Chapter 3360. The ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan could be said to be the best divine land in the entire eastern continent. It was the ancestral vein of the eastern continent, where the immortal tree had taken root. For countless years, this place had been a place that many forces wanted to occupy. The Golden Crow clan naturally had the strength to become the master of this place. In the eastern continent, who would dare to provoke the Golden Crow clan? But now, a demonic figure suddenly appeared in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan and began a massacre. Demonic chi filled the air, and experts of the Golden Crow clan were constantly being killed by the demonic figure. Mo Joyo. At this moment, an elder of the Golden Crow clan arrived. He recognized the demonic figure with a single glance. It was the true ruler of the extraterrestrial demonic realm, Mo Joyo. An incarnation dares to come here and cause trouble. Courting death. The elder of the Golden Crow clan saw through the demonic figure in the next moment. This demonic figure was actually only an incarnation, not the real one. If Mo Joyo's real body had invaded the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, then the Golden Crow clan would be in great trouble. However, if it was only an incarnation of Mo Joyo, then it would be a different story. The elder of the Golden Crow clan took out his natal divine weapon. A golden divine sword flew out from his body, emitting a terrifying sword chi, and slashed towards the demonic figure. This was the Golden Crow sword that the elder had refined. The sword chi emitted from the Golden Crow sword was very strong. This was the eruption of the sword principle of a quasi-sovereign. The golden sword light was like a divine rainbow, piercing through the demonic figure in an instant. However, the demonic figure was not destroyed just like that. It continued to attack. The terrifying demonic might continued to erupt, causing the entire world to tremble. The demonic figure stretched out its hand, and an expert of the Golden Crow clan flew towards the demonic figure involuntarily from afar. "How dare you!" The elder of the Golden Crow clan roared and attacked again. Golden sword chi streaked across the sky, descending from the sky towards the demonic figure, trying to save the expert of the Golden Crow clan. However, it was too late. Before the Golden Crow elder's sword light could land, the Golden Crow clan's expert had already been caught by the demonic shadow. Shua! The demonic shadow dodged the Golden Crow elder's sword in an instant. In the next moment, the Golden Crow clan expert who was caught by the demonic shadow screamed in terror. The Golden Crow's divine essence was constantly being devoured by the demonic shadow. Very soon, the Golden Crow's essence was completely devoured by the demonic shadow, turning him into a desiccated corpse. What? The expressions of all the experts of the Golden Crow clan couldn't help but change when they saw this scene. This demon was truly too arrogant. Preposterous. At that moment, an aged voice rang out from afar. Then, a powerful figure appeared high up in the sky. It was a figure shrouded in golden light. "Big brother, you came at the right time. How about us brothers join forces to kill this fellow?" the elder said. "Let's work together then." The old man nodded. At this moment, the two elders of the Golden Crow clan each released a powerful energy wave. An invisible force had already shrouded the demonic shadow. Roar! The demonic shadow roared. The extremely powerful demonic energy surged out from the demonic shadow. The demonic energy was so vast that it could corrode everything. The energy that was heading towards the demonic shadow was actually blocked by the demonic energy. Rumble! At this moment, the heavens and earth shook. The demonic energy and the divine energy clashed. The energy waves that were released from the three supreme experts shook the heavens and earth. It was extremely rare for two elders of the Golden Crow clan to join forces against an enemy. Therefore, all the clansmen of the Golden Crow clan were dumbfounded when they saw that the two elders were going to join forces against the demonic shadow. This was merely a clone of Mojoyo, yet it possessed such heaven-defying combat strength. This was something that the two elders of the Golden Crow clan could not believe. Mojoyo, that bastard, the great elder of the Golden Crow clan, sent a message to the current leader of the Golden Crow clan. Soon, the entire ancestral ground of the Golden Crow clan was enveloped by a layer of divine light. The great formation that protected the ancestral ground of the Golden Crow clan was activated. Bang! Boom! The three figures were moving rapidly in the sky. Dull sounds of collision could be heard in the void. Pitch-black spatial cracks were constantly appearing in the void. This was the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, the place where the immortal god tree had taken root, and the void was extremely stable. However, the cultivation and battle prowess of these three guys was so strong that they had shaken the void in this area. While Mojoyo's clone was fighting against the two elders of the Golden Crow clan, there were many figures standing in the sky outside the ancestral ground of the Golden Crow clan. The one leading them was Ji Fei. Beside Ji Fei stood the demon god, old ancestor Luo Xiao, Kang Qiu, and Mojoyo from the extraterrestrial demon region. "I didn't expect your clone to be so powerful." Ji Fei looked at the three figures fighting in the sky and could not help but marvel at the strength of Mojoyo's clone. It could actually fight against the elders of the Golden Crow clan. The cultivation and combat strength of the elders of the Golden Crow clan were definitely not weak. They were at least at the old ancestor level. However, even so, it was not easy to defeat Mojoyo's clone. "That's a clone that I refined when I was still an extreme demon ancestor," Mojoyo said calmly. "I see. No wonder it's so powerful." Ji Fei immediately understood after hearing that. A clone refined by an extreme demon ancestor was naturally not to be underestimated. It was much more powerful than ordinary clones. "Brother Ji, let's do it." At that moment, Kang Qiu could not hold it in any longer. "All right." Ji Fei nodded. Then, he stretched out his right hand and drew a line in front of him. A spatial crack immediately appeared in the void and three figures rushed out from the crack. Three powerful demonic auras immediately erupted from the three figures. The terrifying demonic might immediately affected the entire heaven and earth, causing the sky to darken. They were the Chaos Demon Ape, the Dragon-Head Demon, and the Tai-Yin Demon Spider. The three demonic experts could use the power of the extreme path. At this moment, in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan, there were also experts of the Golden Crow Clan who discovered the existence of the three demonic experts. All the experts of the Golden Crow Clan were inexplicably shocked. Without any hesitation, the Chaos Demon Ape and the others pounced towards the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan. Boom! With a loud bang, the power of the extreme path blasted on the formation of the Golden Crow Clan. The entire formation shook. The divine light that enveloped the entire ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan was not destroyed by the attack of the extreme path. However, the sudden loud bang really shocked countless clansmen of the Golden Crow Clan. If the experts of the demons outside were allowed to come in, the ancestral land would definitely be in chaos. No one expected that the extraterrestrial demon realm would actually target the Golden Crow Clan. Before Mojuyo's real body appeared, the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan was already in chaos. At this moment, outside the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan, the Chaos Demon Ape and the other two experts of the demons were constantly attacking the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan. The devil chi that rushed out from the three experts of the demons had already shrouded the entire sky, causing the heaven and earth to darken. The devil chi is soaring in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan. What's going on? In the region near the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan, countless living beings were extremely frightened. They all thought that the demons of the extraterrestrial demon realm had come to invade. The Golden Crow Clan and the demons were mortal enemies. At this moment, in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan, incomparably powerful auras kept erupting. Why are these demons attacking the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan? In the distant region, a figure standing on a spiritual peak muttered to himself. A wave of devil might of the extreme Tao spread out. Countless powerful living beings in the entire region, and even the entire east continent of the ancestral god realm, could sense this wave of devil might. At this moment, under the cover of the devil chi, Xiao Chen released countless demons. In an instant, the towering devil chi filled the sky, and the scene was extremely shocking. Meanwhile, Xiao Chen and the others carefully concealed their own auras, so that no one could sense their existence. All of this, Ji Yufei deliberately made it seem that the demons of the extraterrestrial demon realm had come to attack the Golden Crow Clan. Naturally, they would not show themselves if they could. Soon, in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan, Mojuyo's clone was blasted away by the Great Elder of the Golden Crow Clan, but he did not disappear. In the next moment, a wave of extreme Tao energy erupted from Mojuyo's clone, and the two experts of the Golden Crow Clan were forced to retreat. After that, Mojuyo's clone took out a devil orb, and the devil orb emitted an extreme Tao aura. The devil orb shot up into the sky and smashed into a mountain in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow Clan. Seeing this, both the first elder and the third elder were dumbfounded. Without hesitation, they immediately made their moves to stop the attack from Mojuyo's clone. However, Mojuyo seemed to have already guessed this, so he acted to stop the two elders of the Golden Crow Clan. Boom! With a loud bang, the mountain was blasted into pieces by the devil orb that Mojuyo's clone had taken out. Dust filled the sky, and countless divine runes also dissipated in the void. Seeing that the mountain was wiped out by Xiao Chen in an instant, everyone was shocked. However, the ones who were the most shocked were the Great Elder and the Third Elder. Only the higher-ups of the Golden Crow Clan knew the use of that spiritual mountain. Once it was destroyed, the consequences would definitely be severe. Chapter 3361. Ji Yufei and the others finally made their move. It was Kang Q's dream to attack the ancestral grounds of the Golden Crow Clan. Back then, he was trapped in the Chaos Demon realm because he was fighting against the experts of the divine race at the front line. The progenitor of the Golden Crow Clan had actually stabbed him in the back, slaughtered almost all of his descendants in the ancestral god realm, and forcibly occupied the eastern continent's immortal tree and this ancestral land that should have belonged to the Chaos Golden Rock Clan. When Kang Q came back and learned about it, he was so angry that he almost went crazy. He thought that even if he was not in the ancestral god realm, his sworn brother could help him take care of his descendants. Who would have thought that the first person to attack his descendants would be his sworn brother? At this time, in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, a mountain peak was shattered by a devil bead that Mojoyo took out. That devil bead was a forbidden artifact that could unleash an attack of the extreme Dao devil ancestor level. After destroying the mountain peak, Mojoyo's devil path forbidden artifact was also destroyed. However, at the instant the mountain was blasted apart, the Golden Crow clan's Grand Elder and the other Grand Elder were truly shocked to the core. That was not an ordinary mountain, but a mountain protected by the extreme Dao. Under normal circumstances, no one in the world could destroy a mountain like that. However, the forbidden weapon that Mojoyo took out was very powerful. The moment the mountain was destroyed, the power of the extreme Dao formation that enveloped the entire ancestral grounds of the Golden Crow clan weakened rapidly. Following the destruction of the mountain, the operation of the entire extreme Dao formation was affected. The power of the extreme Dao formation that enveloped the entire ancestral grounds of the Golden Crow clan was constantly weakening. Roar! The Chaos Demon Ape swung the black iron rod in his hand at the layer of divine light formed by the power of the extreme Dao formation. Boom! With a loud bang, the divine light flashed. The Chaos Demon Ape's rod actually smashed a hole the size of a human head on the layer of divine light. Ha ha! The Chaos Demon Ape laughed heartily. After smashing the barrier a dozen times with all his might, he finally managed to smash a huge hole through the layer of divine light in front of him. Kill! Without any hesitation, the Chaos Demon Ape roared and waved the black iron rod in its hand, charging into the big hole. At this time, the experts of the Golden Crow clan were shocked to see this. The extreme Dao Grand formation was broken. How was this possible? Several experts of the Golden Crow clan charged towards the Chaos Demonic Ape. Bang! The Chaos Demon Ape smashed a Golden Crow race expert into a mist of blood. The Golden Crow race expert's body and soul were destroyed by the Chaos Demon Ape's strike. What? The experts from the Golden Crow clan could not help but pause when they saw this. Never did they expect the demonic ape to be so ferocious and powerful. The devilish ape opened its mouth and inhaled, swallowing all of the blood mist into its stomach. Haha, it's been a long time since I've tasted such delicious blood food. The Chaos Demonic Ape licked its lips and let out a strange cry. It leaped up and pounced towards the experts of the Golden Crow clan. After that, it smashed all the experts of the Golden Crow clan into a mist of blood, and then swallowed them whole. The blood essence of the experts of the Golden Crow clan contained a huge amount of energy. The Chaos Demon Ape swallowed the blood essence of more than a dozen experts of the Golden Crow clan and stopped. At this time, the Chaos Demon Ape's body was emitting a bloody light. The energy contained in the blood essence of the Golden Crow clan was overflowing from his body. Rumble! At this time, the extreme formation that enveloped the entire ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan began to collapse. Terrifying and monstrous energy waves erupted from the extreme formation. The experts of the Golden Crow clan and the Demon clan, who were unable to escape in time, were directly shattered in the void. Their bodies and souls were instantly destroyed. Even the Chaos Demon Ape, the Supreme Yin Demon Spider, and the Dragon Head Demon had to retreat. At this time, Jiyu Fei and the others who were watching the battle from afar were also shocked by the destructive power of the extreme Dao Grand formation. They saw divine light shooting into the sky, but within the divine light, there were countless divine inscriptions dissipating. They could vaguely see figures turning into blood mist in the divine light, disappearing from the world. The grand formation has been broken. It's your turn. Jiyu Fei turned around and said to Kang Qiu, who was standing beside him. Yes. Kang Qiu nodded with a solemn expression, and then he took a step forward and instantly vanished into thin air. In the next moment, when his figure reappeared, he had already charged into the ancestral grounds of the Golden Crow clan. Kang Qiu directly opened his inner world. Then, Peng Jingtian, Peng Shi, and the Golden Rock Goddess rushed out. The Chaos Golden Rock clan. At this time, an expert of the Golden Crow clan saw Kang Qiu and couldn't help but shout. The members of the Golden Crow clan who heard this were all shocked. The cultivators of the ancestral god realm were very clear about the grudge between the Golden Crow clan and the Chaos Golden Rock clan. These two clans were absolutely irreconcilable enemies. "Kill to your heart's content," Kang Qiu shouted at Peng Jingtian and the others. Yes. Peng Jingtian and the others quickly accepted the order and turned around to attack the nearby experts of the Golden Crow clan. The battle became even more intense. In the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, the battle cries shook the heavens and the earth. Countless experts were fighting, and powerful creatures were dying one after another. It was as if there was a rain of blood falling from the sky. With the collapse of the extreme Dao Grand Formation, the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan lost its protection. The army of demons who were waiting outside immediately rushed into the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. "Kang Qiu, you actually colluded with the demons from the extraterrestrial demon region to attack our clan. You are simply insane." The Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan roared angrily. "Little guy, when I was invincible in the East Continent, you were still wearing diapers. How dare you act so presumptuously in front of me?" Kang Qiu took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan. Then, he stretched out his right hand and grabbed at the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan. What? The Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan felt his body tighten. He was instantly restrained by an invisible force. Then, he flew towards Kang Qiu's hand involuntarily. Without any suspense, the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan was caught in Kang Qiu's hand. "Little guy, where is your old ancestor?" Kang Qiu stared at the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan in his hand and said coldly. "Grand Elder." At this moment, the experts of the Golden Crow clan who saw this scene could not help but be shocked. Kang Qiu had captured the Grand Elder with one move. Who could fight against such combat strength? P2E. The Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan directly spat at Kang Qiu. Of course, the spit did not land on Kang Qiu naturally, it was repelled by the power of the divine path outside of his body. Mph, Kang Qiu exerted force in his hand. Phut. The Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan, who was in his hand, exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist. He captured the primordial spirit of the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan and read the memories of the primordial spirit. Soon, Kang Qiu found out everything. Then, he shook his right hand and dispersed the primordial spirit of the Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan. The mighty Grand Elder of the Golden Crow clan was killed just like that. Seeing that the Grand Elder had died in Kang Qiu's hands, the other experts of the Golden Crow clan were devastated. However, they knew that they were no match for Kang Qiu, so they began to retreat into the depths of the ancestral land. The Golden Crow clan was defeated. All the experts of the Golden Crow clan retreated toward the divine tree of the East Continent. The army of demons and the chaotic Golden Rock clan led by Kang Qiu worked together to surround the divine tree of the East Continent. At that moment, Kang Qiu and the others had gained the upper hand. It seemed like it was only a matter of time before the Golden Crow clan perished. However, Kang Qiu vaguely felt that things were not that simple. Although his sworn brother had disappeared, he would definitely leave behind a backup plan to protect his clansmen. Kang Qiu knew his sworn brother's character very well. That fellow was a ruthless and decisive person. He would never be indecisive. Moreover, that fellow was very careful and would never do something he was not confident in. At that moment, Ji Yufei, who was far in the sky, was holding the mountain and river cauldron in his hand as he quietly watched the battlefield before him. "Master, the dust has settled. We don't have to do anything anymore," the demon god Venerable, who was standing beside Ji Yufei, said. "Let's take a look," Ji Yufei said. He felt that the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan was too easily breached. Moreover, the Golden Crow clan was too weak. It did not make sense that there was not a single quasi-supreme who came out to fight. "Where's the immortal tree?" An idea suddenly flashed across Ji Yufei's mind. He finally knew why he felt so uneasy. It was because of the towering tree in front of him. The immortal tree itself did not have any powerful powers. However, the creatures that inhabited the tree were different. At that moment, several extremely powerful figures appeared near the immortal tree. Kang Qiu, Mo Juyo's incarnation, the Chaos Demon Ape, the Supreme Yin Demon Spider, and the Dragon-Head Demon had all arrived. Behind them were countless demons. This time, the extraterrestrial demon region had almost turned out in full force in order to attack the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan in the East Continent. All the experts of the three major demons had come. Even their clan master had come. At this moment, the outcome of the battle seemed to have been decided. Countless experts of the Golden Crow clan had fled to the Immortal Tree. At that moment, Jiu Fei appeared in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan with the demon god Venerable and the others. The Immortal Tree belonged to him. If Kang Q and the others were to accidentally destroy the tree, wouldn't his efforts be in vain? Chapter 3362. The gigantic divine tree towered into the clouds and one couldn't see the end of it with a single glance. The entire canopy covered a radius of a few dozen miles. This was the number one divine tree in the East Continent of the ancestral god realm, perhaps even the entire ancestral god realm. Looking from afar, the crown of the divine tree was like a huge dark green mountain, giving off an imposing aura. The leaves on the divine tree were also gigantic and every single leaf was glowing with spiritual light. The patterns on the leaves were like natural Tao patterns, giving off a natural feeling. The gigantic trunk was mottled and the bark was like a dragon's scales covering the trunk. The roots dug deep into the ground like a wriggling horned dragon. Jiu Fei couldn't help but exclaim as he looked at the immortal tree from afar. The immortal tree was indeed worthy of its name. Its vitality was unimaginably exuberant. Even the vitality of an extreme supreme being wouldn't amount to much. The immortal tree of the East Continent had existed for countless years, as though it had existed for eternity. It had experienced countless glorious and dark eras and had become the target of many great figures. Those who could become the owner of the immortal tree were all the strongest existences in the history of the ancestral god realm. In fact, many demons had set their eyes on the immortal tree during the invasion of the demons back then. However, none of them managed to snatch the divine tree away. At this moment, the heavens and earth were shrouded by a murderous aura. Kang Q, Mo Joyo, and the other experts of the demons had already surrounded the area. The unique aura of an expert spread across the heavens and earth, causing the entire void to freeze. The Golden Crow clan should be annihilated today. Kang Q stood in the void and stared coldly at the terrified members of the Golden Crow clan on the divine tree. His hatred for the Golden Crow clan had reached its peak. Being betrayed by his brother made Kang Q feel extremely disappointed. He didn't expect his sworn brother to kill his own descendant. In the past, if it wasn't for his protection, the Golden Crow ancestor wouldn't have been able to grow. Therefore, he was the benefactor of the Golden Crow ancestor. The betrayal of the Golden Crow ancestor was repaying kindness with enmity. Kang Q, you and my ancestor are brothers. Why must you be so ruthless? At that moment, a figure walked out from the crown of the undying god tree. It was a middle-aged man clad in golden battle armor with golden divine flames burning around his body. This middle-aged man was wearing a golden helmet, a golden spear, and a pair of golden shoes. He was an extremely powerful immortal general. Little guy, you're actually still alive. That's good. Kang Q's pupils contracted when he saw the middle-aged immortal general. This middle-aged immortal general was the third son of the Golden Crow ancestor. The third son of the Golden Crow first ancestor was undoubtedly the one with the highest status in the Golden Crow clan. He was known as the third ancestor and was one of the three great ancestors of the Golden Crow clan. You still dare to mention that your father and I are brothers in front of me? Your father actually dared to stab me in the back and nearly exterminate my Chaos Golden Rock race. What your father owes me, I will take back from you today. Kang Q stared at Jin Lun, the third son of the Golden Crow ancestor. The winner takes all. You don't understand this logic. Uncle, only my father can protect the family business that you've left behind. Speaking of which, you should thank my father instead. Jin Lun smiled. What did you say? Your treacherous father nearly exterminated my Chaos Golden Rock race. I have to thank him. Hearing Jin Lun's words, Kang Q's eyes turned bloodshot. This was the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard. At least your Chaos Golden Rock race isn't extinct yet, isn't it? Jin Lun said with his usual radiant smile. Shut up. Get your ass over here and die. Kang Q was truly enraged right now. If looks could kill, Jin Lun would have died countless times over by now. Since that's the case, let's do it then. Jin Lun said as he raised the golden spear in his hand. At that moment, an extremely dazzling golden light burst out from the crown of the undying god tree. It was as though a golden sun had appeared high up in the sky. The next moment. Boom. Suddenly, the ball of golden light shook violently, and the light that burst out suddenly increased by several times. Roar. How could this be? Blood-curdling screams and horrified roars immediately rang out from all directions, and the light that had shot out from the ball of golden light pierced through the bodies of countless devilish beings. Over half of the countless devilish beings that had surrounded this area were instantly killed. The demons that were illuminated by the golden crow's divine radiance were instantly turned into fireballs and burned to ashes. Golden sun incinerates the heavens. Even Mo Juyo's clone let out a strange cry and turned to flee in a panic. The three stone devils possessed extreme downgrade demonic bodies. Although they were also struck by the golden light that suddenly erupted from the ball of golden light, they were not in danger of dying. The three stone demons roared out in anger. Their stone-like demonic bodies were actually cracking from the heat of the golden light. The Chaos Demon Ape and the other two stone demons hurriedly turned to flee. Up in the sky, Ji Yufei felt a piercing pain from the golden light in front of him. He instinctively raised his hand to block it. In the next moment, he felt an unbearable heat throughout his body. The parts of his body that were illuminated by the golden light felt as though they were on fire. Hum. The mountain and river cauldron in his hand let out a buzzing sound. A wave of primordial chaos energy erupted from the mountain and river cauldron and instantly enveloped him. Ji Yufei immediately used the power of the mountain and river cauldron to protect himself. In the next moment, the burning sensation on his body immediately disappeared. Then, Ji Yufei saw a scene that made his heart palpitate. The countless demons in front of him were like snow under the sun. They all dissipated in the void. Under the illumination of the golden light, their bodies and souls were instantly destroyed. At this moment, Ji Yufei heard two exclamations coming from beside him. He quickly turned around and saw the demon god and Mo Joyo retreating quickly. Ji Yufei snorted coldly and raised the mountain and river cauldron in his hand. In the next moment, a hazy mass of primordial chaos energy rushed out of his hand and instantly enveloped half of the world. It protected all the demons and chaotic golden rock clan cultivators on this side. The powerful golden sun energy was repelled by the primordial chaos energy that erupted from the mountain and river cauldron. At this moment, Kang Q, who bore the brunt of the attack, was in danger. His entire body was shrouded in golden divine flames. The golden light pierced through his body like a hornet's nest. He screamed and rushed toward where Ji Yufei was. Chapter 3363. Ji Yufei did not expect the Golden Crow tribe's counterattack to be so ferocious. A ball of divine light that resembled a golden sun rose from the crown of the immortal tree. The power of the golden sun of extreme Dao level erupted. The golden divine light swept out in all directions like a golden storm of death. Everything in its path was set ablaze and burned to ashes. It was no ordinary golden divine fire, but an extreme Dao level divine fire. Extreme Dao level Dao patterns could be vaguely seen within the divine fire. In an instant, the countless cultivators of the demons surrounding the Golden Crow tribe were burned to ashes by the golden divine fire. The leaders of the demons from beyond the heavens were almost driven mad. This time, the demons from beyond the heavens had come out in full force. All the leaders were here, led by Mo Joyo. They had successfully attacked the ancestral land of the Golden Crow tribe. However, no one had expected that the Golden Crow clan's counterattack would be so ferocious that no one had expected it to be. In just an instant, countless Devil clan cultivators were burned to death. Even one of the leaders of the demons let out a miserable howl as the Golden Dao fire ignited his vitality. He was burned to ashes from the inside out and dissipated into the void. How is this possible? The leaders of the demons from beyond the heavens immediately turned around and fled. It's the golden sun incinerating the heavens. How dare you? In the end, Mo Juyo's incarnation was still just an incarnation. The golden light was like a raging tsunami. Mo Juyo's incarnation only lasted for a short while before it was burned into a wisp of green smoke by the mighty golden sun true fire, dissipating into the void. Damn it! When Mo Juyo's true body saw this, he couldn't help feeling shocked and furious. That clone of his was something that he had refined for a very long time. Its battle prowess was so great that it could contend against the other overlords of the devil race. Such an incarnation was actually burned into green smoke. This caused Mo Juyo to go crazy. Buzz. At that moment, a deafening sound came from the direction of the immortal tree. A golden rainbow shot out from the immortal tree and pierced through a figure shrouded in divine flames. Swoosh. Without any suspense, the golden rainbow-like divine light directly pierced through the figure. What? Even Ji Yufei was shocked when he witnessed this scene. Because the figure that was fleeing towards him was the first ancestor of the Golden Rock race, Kang Q. Just as Ji Yufei thought Kang Q was going to die, a ball of divine light suddenly surged from Kang Q's body. Then, the golden divine fire on his body was completely devoured by the ball of divine light. Under the nourishment of the ball of divine light, Kang Q's injured body rapidly healed. In just an instant, his body began to ripple with powerful vital energy. That is, Ji Yufei was incomparably shocked. Kang Q had suffered such a heavy injury. Even with the help of an expert, it would still take a long time for him to recover. However, he had completely recovered so quickly, and it was all because of the surging life essence from the ball of divine light. Destiny God Crystal! Demon God Venerable exclaimed. He had already returned to Ji Yufei's side. He could not help but be moved when he saw that scene. That was a legendary divine item. At that moment, the ball of divine light that rushed out from Kang Q's body instantly fell from the sky and entered his body. This guy actually has such a good thing on him. Ji Yufei's eyes immediately lit up. The Destiny God Crystal actually had such a heaven-defying effect. Even he could not help but be envious of it. Destiny God Crystal, such a thing. Mo Juyo was also very surprised. He also knew the origin of that thing. At that moment, Kang Q escaped death and instantly rushed into the range of the mountain and river cauldron's power. Jin Lun wanted to attack again, but he had no choice but to stop. He felt the existence of an extremely powerful force. If he continued to chase after Kang Q, he would be the one to die. Jin Lun would not make such a low-level mistake. He held the battle spear in his hand and looked coldly at the extremely powerful figures in the sky. He could not help but frown. He did not need to think with his toes to know that these guys were definitely hired by Kang Q. It seemed that Kang Q had gone crazy from wanting revenge. He actually dared to lure the extraterrestrial demon region's demons into the East continent. This was a crazy act that would incur the wrath of the masses. Rumble, at that very moment, the golden sun-like halo of light above the divine tree of immortality was still radiating a supreme power of the golden sun. Countless demon cultivators were burned to ashes just like that. In just a few breaths' time, the encirclement formed by the demon's army on the Golden Crow clan was instantly disintegrated. With the exception of a few devilish powerhouses, almost all of the devilish cultivators were burned to ashes by the power of the golden sun. Roar! The Chaos Demon Ape roared and rushed into the area shrouded by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. His stone-like demonic body was burned to countless cracks. The Divine Yin Demon Spider and the Dragon Head Demon did not have it easy either. They were almost burned to death by the explosive power of the Golden Sun. With just one move, the Golden Crow clan actually showed signs of turning defeat into victory. This made the big demons go crazy as they could not accept such a reality. Damn it! Mo Juyo, who had always remained calm and collected even in the face of an avalanche, was truly enraged this time around. Even his voice was trembling. It wasn't that he was afraid of the Golden Crow race, but rather, he was angered by them. So cunning. Ji Yufei looked at the world shrouded in golden light in front of him and his face turned solemn. What? Could it be that these guys pretended to be defeated to lure us here? Yarrow Divine Venerable said in surprise. If that was the case, then the price of doing so was too high. In this battle, the Golden Crow clan's Grand Elder had fallen, and many other Golden Crow clan's experts had also fallen. But now, it seemed that it was all worth it. Because the Golden Sun scorching sky just now had definitely caused a greater loss to the demons than the Golden Crow clan. Looks like you have to take action. Mo Joyo looked at Jiu Fei and said, "Humph, I didn't expect there to be such a variable in this battle." Jiu Fei said. He looked at the towering divine tree in front of him and was naturally tempted. However, the Golden Crow clan was not to be trifled with. The Golden Crow clan's ancestral land was where the ancestral vein of the eastern continent was located. No one knew what kind of powerful trump cards the Golden Crow clan's ancestors had left behind to protect their descendants. This immortal divine tree was not that easy to obtain. Chapter 3364. The Golden Crow clan's ancestral land was filled with demonic aura as terrifying demonic shadows loomed between heaven and earth. It was the manifestation of extremely powerful demons. Not long after Jiu Fei and the others made their move, all the major forces in the ancestral god realm's East Continent had received the news. The major forces in the East Continent had sent out spies and even spies to each other with a simple purpose, to keep abreast of the other forces' movements and react in time. Of course, it was impossible for the spies from other clans to enter the Golden Crow clan's ancestral land. However, it was impossible for the major forces not to know about the Golden Crow clan's ancestral land being breached. At that time, many powerful beings had gathered outside the Golden Crow clan's ancestral land with some extreme divine aura lingering between heaven and earth. It was no secret that some forces in the East Continent possessed extreme divine weapons. After all, there were many extreme divine ultimate gods in the ancestral god realm. Although those extreme divine ultimate gods had disappeared, some of them had left their extreme divine weapons to protect their clansmen. After reaching the extreme divine realm, there was nothing in the world that could make them worry except for their descendants and clansmen. Even the powerful extreme divine ultimate gods had things that they were reluctant to part with. Why did the demons attack the Golden Crow clan? Is it because of the immortal tree? A few figures gathered in the sky outside the Golden Crow clan's ancestral land and were carefully communicating with each other. There must be other reasons. It seems like someone invaded the heavenly demon territory not long ago and the demons started this war without any warning. Someone voiced out his doubts. Who are you and what's the connection between these two things? A celestial being who was hidden in the void said. Then there's really no connection between these two things. Another golden-haired deity said. Haha, who cares why the demons attacked the Golden Crow clan? It seems like this war will end in a lose-lose situation. This is definitely a good thing for us. A tall, silver-haired deity with a silver horn in the middle of his forehead said with a laugh. That's right, haha, the other gods also burst out laughing. The demons from beyond the heavens and the Golden Crow tribe had both suffered great losses, and they were the only ones who had benefited from it. The power structure of the East Continent was going to be reshuffled. The Golden Crow clan wasn't the only powerful clan in the Eastern Continent. There were other powerful clans as well. The Golden Crow clan was just stronger than the other clans. Although the Golden Crow clan occupied the East Continent's unique cultivation resources, they could not unify the entire East Continent. The mysterious Snake clan, the Heavenly God clan, and the Earth Spirit clan were all great clans in the Eastern Continent, especially the Heavenly God clan, whose primogenitor was a carnate god born from the chaos. He was able to subdue dragons and devour snakes as soon as he was born. The Earth Spirit clan was not simple either. Their ancestor had cultivated from a psychic divine stone that was nourished by the Earth's ancestral veins. They were known for their powerful bodies. At this time, the experts of the three great clans had gathered outside the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. Everyone was shocked. Ever since the ancient war, the demons that had been stranded in the ancestral god realm retreated to the heavenly demon domain. Everyone thought that the demons from beyond the heavenly demon domain would not be able to cause any trouble in the ancestral god realm. But now, it seemed that they were gravely mistaken. After countless years of recuperation, the demons from beyond the heavens, under the leadership of Mo Joyo, had become so powerful that they could break through the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. At this time, in the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, an ancient cauldron was floating high in the sky, confronting a golden sun-like divine light in front of it. Wung! The ancient cauldron hummed from time to time, releasing waves of extreme Tao-level primordial chaos energy, blocking the mighty golden sun energy in front of it. The power of the golden sun energy was beyond everyone's expectations. Countless demons were caught unprepared and died under this move of the Golden Crow clan. These demonic cultivators had died too unjustly. Originally, they had thought that victory was in sight. Who could have thought that they would be the ones to die instead? Jin Lun, you're so ruthless. Kang Q looked at the golden figure bathed in golden light and said while gritting his teeth. Apart from the demons, the chaotic Golden Rock clan had also lost a few clansmen. Even Peng Jingtian, Peng Shi, and the Golden Rock goddess were badly injured. They would not be able to recover without recuperating for a period of time. I'm ruthless? Haha, I'm not as ruthless as you. You actually attracted the demons from beyond the heavenly demon domain. Are you trying to make the entire ancestral god realm your enemy? The third son of the Golden Crow ancestor, who was wearing golden armor and holding a golden spear, said coldly while staring at Kang Q. What did you say? Kang Q was enraged. Jin Lun's words had indeed poked at his sore spot. He did not want to borrow the strength of the demons from beyond the heavenly demon domain, but it was impossible for him to breach the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan with his own strength. Chumph, don't you know what I'm saying? From today onwards, you, Kang Q, will become the public enemy of the entire ancestral god realm. You will no longer have a place in the ancestral god realm. Jin Lun said coldly. Although many of their clansmen had died in the battle today, it was not a bad thing to turn Kang Q into the public enemy of the ancestral god realm. He might not even need to do anything, as the other forces of the ancestral god realm would find Kang Q and kill him. What public enemy? If you're so righteous, the Golden Crow clan would not have done such a treacherous thing. Kang Q said disdainfully. Is that so? Let's wait and see. Jin Lun said disapprovingly. Are you guys done talking? At this moment, a voice was suddenly heard. Everyone quickly looked towards the direction of the voice and saw that the person who spoke was Ji Yufei. Go somewhere else if you two want to talk. I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. Ji Yufei looked at Kang Q and Jin Lun, who was enveloped by the golden sun energy. The Golden Crow clan's first ancestor had indeed left behind such a powerful trump card. Who are you? Jin Lun stared at Ji Yufei and asked. He did not dare to underestimate this person. If it wasn't for this person, the demons and the chaotic Golden Rock race would have suffered even more casualties. Who I am isn't important. What's important is that I want that immortal tree. Ji Yufei looked at the third son of the Golden Crow clan and said casually. What? Chapter 3365. The Golden Crow race's counterattack had succeeded in killing off most of the cultivators from beyond the heavens. However, a portion of the cultivators from beyond the heavens were also rescued by Ji Yufei. At this moment, the golden sun-like divine radiance above the undying god tree was emitting a resplendent radiance. The radiance was countless times brighter than a true divine sun. A supreme aura of the extreme Tao swept out in all directions. This aura of the extreme Tao had not only enveloped the entire ancestral land of the Golden Crow race, it had also spread to the eastern continent. Countless powerful experts of the celestial race in the eastern continent could sense the extreme Tao aura coming from the ancestral land of the Golden Crow race. The source of this extreme Tao aura was actually a feather, a golden feather. It was truly unbelievable for such a small feather to be able to unleash such a powerful energy fluctuation. Rumble. The entire heavens seemed to be shaking as the golden feather continued to emit resplendent golden radiance. It was even hotter than a true divine sun, capable of burning everything in the world to ashes. Hand over the undying god tree. After that, you can continue to bicker for as long as you want. It has nothing to do with me. Ji Yufei looked coldly at Jin Lun, who was bathing in the golden sun energy. At this moment, the void that was enveloped by the golden sun energy was constantly being destroyed. Even the members of the Golden Crow race did not dare to leave the Undying God Tree. Only a few especially powerful experts of the Golden Crow race could charge out from the Undying God Tree like Jin Lun. They stood in the void and coldly stared at Jiyu Fei's group while emitting a boundless fighting spirit. Even the ground had been scorched. A sacred land that was rarely seen in this world had been destroyed just like that. However, the Golden Crow race did not feel any pity for it. As long as the Undying God Tree remained, this sacred land would not be destroyed and would be restored to its original state. One must know that the place where the Undying God Tree had taken root was where the ancestral earth vein of the eastern continent was located. There was an immeasurable amount of earth essence energy gathered here. In such a place, anything was possible. Jiyu Fei noticed that the extreme Tao-grade true sun energy from the golden feather hovering above the Undying God Tree had not harmed the Undying God Tree in the slightest. The hazy layer of light emitted from the immortal Tree of God looked weak, but it was able to repel the mighty power of the golden sun from the sky. Jiyu Fei couldn't help but be moved. Although this immortal God Tree didn't have any powerful divine abilities, it didn't seem simple either. Even the extreme Tao golden sun couldn't injure it. You want me to hand over the immortal tree? You'll have to make it leave this place first. Jin Lun said with a chuckle, a hint of disdain on his face. Tumpiech, you don't know your place. I didn't want to fight, but it looks like I have no choice. Jiyu Fei sneered. Brother Jiyu, you should have made a move earlier. At this moment, Kang Qiu was overjoyed when he saw that Jiyu Fei was finally going to make a move. After all, the Golden Crow clan would definitely suffer once Jiyu Fei made a move. At this time, even Mo Joyo was looking at Jiyu Fei. Jiyu Fei took a step forward and instantly rushed out of the area enveloped by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. In the next moment, his clothes were burned to ashes by the power of the extreme Tao level True Yang, revealing the sky blue armor underneath. A powerful immortal aura spread out from the armor, repelling the power of the golden sun. This is, Mo Joyo and the others were shocked that Jiyu Fei dared to directly charge into the area enveloped by the golden sun power. It turned out that he was wearing an incredible armor. That was the sky blue immortal gold armor, refined from the immortal material sky blue immortal gold. It was a supreme treasure of the desolate world that Jiyu Fei had obtained. With the sky blue immortal gold armor, he naturally didn't fear the golden sun power. With a flip of his right hand, a willow branch immediately appeared in his hand. A demonic aura that caused one's heart to palpitate spread out from the willow branch. Mo Joyo was shocked to see the willow branch Jiyu Fei took out. How did this guy get his hands on something like this? Impossible. The progenitor of the Willow Devil clan was a demonic willow that was born from the primordial chaos. This willow branch was broken off from the body of a demonic willow. Back in the Chaos Demon realm, Mo Joyo had met the progenitor of the Willow Devil clan several times. He could naturally sense that the willow branch in Jiyu Fei's hand exuded the same aura as the progenitor of the Willow Devil clan. Did this guy actually destroy the Willow Devil clan in the Chaos Demon realm? This willow branch was absolutely a supreme treasure to the Willow Devil clan. It was left behind by the progenitor to protect his clan. He wouldn't show it to others easily, let alone lend it to them. There was only one possibility for the willow branch to appear in Jiyu Fei's hand. Jiyu Fei had snatched it from the Willow Devil clan. Mo Juyo's guess was correct. This willow branch was naturally snatched from the hands of the Willow Devil clan by Jiyu Fei. However, Jiyu Fei didn't destroy the Willow Devil clan. At this time, the third son of the Golden Crow clan, Jin Lun, was indescribably shocked. This guy actually didn't fear the power of the extreme Tao Golden Sun. How was this possible? Swish. At this time, Jiyu Fei made his move. The willow branch in his hand directly pierced through the void and wrapped around Jin Lun. Everywhere the willow branch passed, the Golden Sun true fire would be extinguished. What? Jin Lun was truly shocked. He hurriedly dodged and dodged. At the same time, the spear in his hand turned into a golden light that pierced towards the center of Jiyu Fei's forehead. Jiyu Fei directly extended his hand to block the golden light. With a boom, the golden light that pierced through the void was directly shattered. A huge hand of primordial chaos then appeared and slammed towards Jin Lun. Rumble. The void trembled. The primordial chaos energy that Ji Yu Fei had struck out had actually dispersed the golden sun true fire, forcing Jin Lun to retreat once more. The strength that Ji Yu Fei had displayed not only shocked Jin Lun, but even Mo Joyo and the others were dumbfounded. At this time, the experts of the Golden Crow clan on the Undying Tree were all nervously watching the scene in front of them. Jin Lun was actually forced to retreat. This caused countless members of the Golden Crow clan to feel indescribably shocked. Jin Lun was one of the old ancestors of the Golden Crow clan. His cultivation base was extremely powerful. Within the entire Golden Crow clan, Jin Lun was one of the strongest. If Jin Lun was defeated, then the Golden Crow clan would truly be in danger. Swish! The willow branch flew through the sky and wrapped around Jin Lun. Jin Lun brandished the spear in his hand and clashed with the willow branch. There were a few times when he was almost wrapped by the willow branch. Chapter 3366. Ji Yu Fei finally made his move. Clad in the sky blue immortal gold battle armor, he held a willow twig in his hand, completely unafraid of the extreme Tao-level golden sun power that erupted from the feather above the tree of immortality. He waved the willow twig in his hand and attacked Jin Lun. The willow twig was an item of the demonic path after all. Ji Yu Fei found it difficult to use it, so he could not bring out the true power of the willow twig. However, this was enough. The willow twig soared through the air and collided with Jin Lun's spear again. Jin Lun felt his hand tremble as a powerful force passed through the spear in his hand. In the next moment, he was sent flying. His hands, which were holding the spear, were in extreme pain. He quickly looked down and saw that his hands, which were holding the spear, were bleeding profusely. His palms were cracked and blood was flowing. Swoosh! In the next moment, Jin Lun felt his body tighten. He had been entangled by the willow twig. By this time, Ji Yu Fei had already gained the upper hand. The willow twig had successfully entangled Jin Lun. With a tug, Jin Lun, the third son of the Golden Crow ancestor, was sent flying towards him. Roar! Jin Lun struggled with all his might, trying to break free from the magic willow. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not break free. In an instant, the magic willow pulled him in front of him. Bzzz. With a deafening sound, the spear in Jin Lun's hand emitted a dazzling golden light. An extreme level of power immediately erupted from the spear. Without any hesitation, Jin Lun swung the spear in his hand. The spear instantly turned into a beam of golden light and pierced through Ji Yu Fei's forehead. Ji Yu Fei hurriedly lowered his head. The beam of golden light brushed past his scalp and a few strands of hair fluttered down from the sky. What? Ji Yu Fei could not help but be shocked. Jin Lun's battle prowess had exceeded his expectations. Kill. Jin Wu, who had been entangled by the willow twigs and had been pulled over by Ji Yu Fei, was punched in the chest by Ji Yu Fei. The sound of bones breaking rang out and Jin Lun was sent flying. Only then did the willow twig around Ji Yu Fei's body loosen. Damn it! Jin Lun was shocked to the extreme. He had never imagined that this person's cultivation and battle prowess would be so powerful. This person's punch had almost caused his body to explode. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Ji Yu Fei did not continue to attack. Instead, he stood in the void and looked coldly at Jin Lun. At this moment, several powerful figures rushed out from the immortal tree and arrived in front of Ji Yu Fei. A tyrannical aura erupted from the experts of the Golden Crow clan. All of you, go back. Jin Lun couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this. In the next moment, Ji Yu Fei made his move. With a flash of golden light, the Golden Crows were turned into a mist of blood, their bodies and souls destroyed. Even Jin Lun was sent flying by Ji Yu Fei once again. If it weren't for the fact that Jin Lun was wearing armor, he would have been killed by Ji Yu Fei and turned into a cloud of blood mist just like those Golden Crow clan experts. Jin Lun's shock was no small matter. At the same time, an extreme power erupted from the golden light above the immortal tree. The golden feather radiated with an extreme power, forcing Ji Yu Fei to resist it with all his might. The golden true yang fire surged towards Ji Yu Fei, but Ji Yu Fei did not dodge. He was wearing the sky-blue immortal gold armor, so the golden sunfire could not burn him at all. At this time, on the Tree of Immortality, there were experts of the Golden Crow clan controlling this extreme power. Swoosh! In the next moment, a golden ray of light shot out from the ball of golden light in the sky. It instantly pierced through the void and blasted Ji Yufei's body. Ji Yufei felt as if he had been smashed by a heavy hammer. His entire body was sent flying, and even the willow branch in his hand almost flew out of his hand. How dare you! Ji Yufei's chi and blood tumbled from the impact. If not for the sky-blue immortal gold armor, he would have been in danger. At this time, the golden crows who were enveloped by the power of the cauldron of mountain and river were shocked. Even Ji Yufei was defeated. It was unbelievable. Especially Kang Qiu. If not for Ji Yufei's help, he would not have been able to survive, let alone seek revenge against the golden crows. Under everyone's gaze, Ji Yufei flipped his right hand and a black saber appeared in his hand. A powerful and domineering power rippled from the black saber. He was finally going to use his peerless saber. The inconspicuous black saber in Ji Yufei's hand exuded an earth-shattering killing intent. A vague shadow of a dragon appeared on the black saber. He kept the willow branch in his hand and held the saber with both hands. With a roar, he slashed at Jin Lun with all his might. Swoosh! An extremely domineering saber light shot out from Ji Yufei's hand. It soared for thousands of miles and fell on Jin Lun's head. No! Jin Lun wanted to dodge, but to his horror, he found that he could not move at all. An invisible force had restrained him. Ji Yufei raised his saber. Swoosh! Swoosh! The third descendant of the Golden Crow ancestor was cut in half. He died just like that. This Kang Qiu and the others, as well as the experts of the Golden Crow tribe on the Tree of Immortality, were all dumbfounded and in disbelief. Old ancestor Jin Lun, countless golden crows on the immortal tree were filled with grief. After the Great Elder, another important figure of the Golden Crow clan had fallen. Rumble, the heavens and earth shook. After the extremely domineering saber light cut Jin Lun in half, it continued to travel for a long distance before dissipating into the air. A pitch-black crack appeared in the sky. This was a crack created by Ji Yufei's saber. It was like a pitch-black abyss that stretched across the sky. Seeing how powerful this saber was, countless experts were shocked. It was Mo Joyo again. The way he looked at Ji Yufei had changed. Fortunately, he did not make an enemy out of Ji Yufei. Otherwise, the Golden Crow clan would be the best example. Hand over the immortal tree and you won't have to die, Ji Yufei said indifferently. Jin Lun's corpse was destroyed by the saber aura, leaving nothing behind. Everything was destroyed by the saber aura. Rumble. At this moment, the ball of golden radiance floating above the immortal tree moved. It was like a real golden sun descending from the sky, smashing towards Ji Yufei. As the ball of golden radiance moved, the surrounding void collapsed immediately. An extremely overbearing power of the extreme way exploded. Temph, it's just a feather. What can it do? Ji Yufei said and slashed at the ball of golden radiance with all his might. The two extreme powers collided in an instant. In the next moment, the void in front of Ji Yufei was annihilated soundlessly. The two extreme powers intertwined, cancelling each other out and destroying each other. Nothing was left behind in the aftermath of the collision. The murderous aura emitted from the peerless saber in Ji Yufei's hand changed the color of the heaven and earth. Even though Kang Qiu and the others were once extreme way god ancestors, they could not help but feel their hearts palpitate when they felt the murderous aura from the saber. The ball of golden radiance was slashed away by the peerless saber. At the same time, countless golden Dao patterns rushed out from the immortal tree. Every Dao pattern emitted an aura of the extreme way. Countless Dao patterns intertwined and formed a Dao diagram. It was a formation diagram, an extreme way formation diagram. The formation diagram enveloped the entire immortal tree and absorbed the essence of the earth ancestor vein. Although Ji Yufei was not a formation master, he could tell the truth of the extreme way formation at a glance. It was an extreme way battle using the immortal tree as the formation eye and gathering the essence of the earth ancestor vein. Roar! At this moment, a roar rang out from the depths of the earth. The muffled sound was like muffled thunder, causing visible transparent ripples to appear in the surrounding space. This is, Gu Fei was taken aback. The Golden Crow ancestor still had something up his sleeves. The Golden Crow ancestor had done something to the Earth ancestor vein. At this moment, a living being that had been slumbering in the Earth ancestor vein for countless years seemed to have awakened. The earth shook and cracked. Powerful energy waves surged from the depths of the earth. The living being in the Earth ancestor vein was breaking free. What's going on? Kang Q was indescribably shocked. He sensed a familiar aura. Could it be that the creature in the depths of the ancestral vein was actually his sworn brother? Kang Q could not help but feel excited. However, he soon found out that the being in the depths of the ancestral earth vein wasn't his sworn brother at all. Boom! Just as everyone was shocked, a loud sound was heard. The ground not far from the immortal tree suddenly exploded. In the next moment, an unimaginably powerful figure rushed out from the ground. It was a living being the size of a hill. It was covered in golden fur and looked like a ball of golden divine fire that rushed out from the ground. Fire ape. Kang Q understood the situation after seeing the living being. So this fella was sealed in the Earth ancestor vein by the Golden Crow ancestor. The fire ape was the same as the Golden Crow ancestor, born from the godly sun. This fire ape could be said to be the Golden Crow ancestor's brother. Its aura was similar to the Golden Crow ancestor's. Roar! The fire ape soared into the sky, then let out a long roar towards the sky. A terrifying sound wave spread out, causing the entire world to tremble. Violent energy ripples spread out in all directions. Chapter 3367. Beneath the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, there was actually an unimaginably powerful being sealed. This being was a great omen of the ancestral god realm from the same era as Kang Q. It was a fire ape, the first fire ape in the ancestral god realm. It was the fire ape ancestor. Roar! Up in the sky, the fire ape ancestor roared at the sky. Terrifying sound waves reverberated in all directions as an extreme power erupted from the fire ape ancestor. Oh no, an extreme supreme being. Gu Fei couldn't help being shocked by this scene. A true extreme sovereign was an invincible existence. They weren't existences that could be compared to pseudo-sovereigns like them who only grasped the extreme sovereign force. Kang Q felt his scalp go numb. The Golden Crow ancestor was such a bastard to seal the fire ape ancestor in the ancestral land of the earth. It was obvious that this was the Golden Crow clan's last resort. An expert from the Golden Crow clan had opened the seal on the Tree of Immortality and released the invincible being in the ancestral land of the earth. Although Gu Fei was shocked, he wasn't afraid. Although the fire ape primogenitor was powerful, he had something to rely on. It wasn't impossible for him to fight against it. Big brother, you're ruthless to seal me in the ancestral land of the earth. The fire ape primogenitor roared furiously, causing the void to explode. This was the terror of an extreme being. A roar could shatter the world. Everyone was stunned. Even the experts from the Golden Crow clan on the Tree of Immortality were dumbfounded. They knew that once the being sealed in the ancestral land of the earth was released, the consequences would be unimaginable. The best outcome would be for the fire ape ancestor to let them go for the sake of the Golden Crow ancestor. However, this was only the wishful thinking of the Golden Crow clan's higher-ups. The fire ape ancestor turned around and glared at the Golden Crows on the Tree of Immortality. His eyes were filled with a terrifying ferocity. After being sealed for so many years, the fire ape ancestor had nowhere to vent his anger. He naturally wanted to settle the score with the Golden Crow clan. Swoosh! The fire ape primogenitor grabbed at the undying god tree. Boundless divine flames instantly condensed into a giant flaming hand that grabbed at the undying god tree. The fiery hand was so huge that it even shrouded the towering tree. It was trying to grab the undying god tree and the members of the Golden Crow tribe on it. Rumble! Wherever the flaming hand passed by, the void was directly annihilated. That divine fire obliterated everything and even shook the immortal tree of God. This caused everyone to be indescribably shocked. However, at this time, The higher-ups of the Golden Crow clan were operating the killing formation, gathering essence from all directions, and even drawing the power of the Earth Ancestor vein. A gigantic figure appeared in the sky. The aura emanating from this figure was simply too terrifying. Even the fire ape primogenitor was taken aback. What? Jiu Fei couldn't help but be moved by this scene. The Golden Crow ancestor's methods were truly endless. He actually left a clone on the undying god tree. The incarnation of a supreme god ancestor was not simple. Moreover, it was supported by the power of the killing formation. It was no different from a supreme god ancestor. Good heavens, Kang Q's pupils contracted when he saw the figure that appeared on the undying god tree. He was extremely familiar with the aura emitted from the figure. I've let you out to kill the enemy, not to deal with my Golden Crow clan. The figure stretched out his hand and slapped. The power of the Golden Sun at the extreme Dao level exploded from the giant hand. Boom! The two huge hands collided in an instant. This was a contest of power at the extreme Dao level. In an instant, the vast and mighty power of destruction obliterated a large area of the void. Even the primal chaos chi was beaten out. The fire ape primogenitor let out a strange cry and was forced to retreat 100 miles away by the figure. Roar! The fire ape primogenitor roared into the sky with a ferocious look. His golden fiery eyes shone with a ferocious light and his body was surrounded by divine fire. Within the fire, there were vague Dao patterns. The powerful aura of the extreme Dao spread and shrouded the entire East continent in an instant. Countless living beings in the East continent were extremely terrified. The aura of the extreme Dao was boundless. Under such pressure, even the heavens and earth were trembling, let alone other living beings. This ferocious ape, the demon god and the rest were terrified. The pressure from the fire ape primogenitor was too great. Even with the protection of the mountain and river cauldron, they still found it difficult to breathe. They were all existences that were only a step away from becoming an extreme-grade supremacy. However, they were still as weak as ants in front of a true extreme-grade supremacy. Among all the experts present, Jiu Fei was probably the only one who could remain calm. This is just one of your incarnations. How dare you order me around? Go to hell. The fire ape primogenitor threw a punch at the figure above the undying god tree. Although it was 100 miles away, the fire ape's punch arrived as soon as it said it would. Rumble! The entire heaven and earth trembled under the fire ape primogenitor's punch. Then, cracks that looked like a spider web appeared. You're courting death. Be careful, or I'll suppress you for billions of years again. The blurry incarnation of the Golden Crow primogenitor stood in the killing formation and said coldly. A super killing formation appeared in the void around him. Countless formation runes intertwined in the void. The essence of the ancestral Earth meridian was constantly guided out from the depths of the Earth by the killing formation and gathered into an enormous extreme Dao supreme energy. Everyone was shocked to see this scene. They could also tell what was going on. An incarnation of an extreme Dao Supreme could never compete with a true extreme Dao Supreme. However, with the help of this super killing formation, it was definitely possible. One must know that this super force could guide the essence of the ancestral Earth meridian for its own use. That was the difference between them. The power of the ancestral Earth meridian was not an ordinary power. The figure standing in the middle of the extreme Dao killing array also punched out. The two fists instantly collided with each other, and a dull sound of impact rang out. This time, the fire ape primogenitor was not pushed back. The two fists still collided and the two extreme Dao supreme energies were still clashing. Ripples visible to the naked eye spread out in all directions from their fists. However, in the next moment, the fire ape primogenitor was sent flying again. This made the fire ape primogenitor furious. His opponent was very cunning. Standing in the super killing formation, he was practically invincible. Let me borrow the cauldron. At this moment, the fire ape primogenitor finally stared at Jiu Fei's group. As he spoke, he directly grabbed at the ancient cauldron floating above everyone's heads. A huge flaming hand appeared and instantly enveloped the sky, cutting off all paths of retreat for Jiu Fei's group. Gu Fei sneered but did not say anything. After all, the mountain and river cauldron was different from the extreme Dao Supreme weapons forged by ordinary extreme Dao Supremes. Seeing that the fire ape primogenitor was about to grab the mountain and river cauldron, Kang Q and the others were shocked. One must know that once the mountain and river cauldron was taken away by the fire ape, they would lose their protection. The might of the extreme Dao wasn't something anyone could withstand. At this moment, even Mo Juyo's expression changed. However, just as the fire ape primogenitor's hand was about to grab the mountain and river cauldron, the mountain and river cauldron suddenly trembled. An extreme Dao primordial chaos energy erupted from the mountain and river cauldron. The fire ape primogenitor exclaimed. The hand that was about to grab the mountain and river cauldron retracted. What? The fire ape primogenitor was shocked. He never thought that an extreme Dao divine weapon would be so powerful that it could shake off his hand. This was unbelievable. You want the mountain and river cauldron? Dream on. Gu Fei said. Little fella, this cauldron is yours. The fire ape primogenitor stared at Gu Fei and said. So what if it's mine? Gu Fei looked at the fire ape primogenitor in the sky and said calmly. He was wearing the sky blue immortal gold armor and wielding a peerless saber. He wasn't afraid of the fire ape primogenitor at all. Little fella, don't you dare act presumptuously in front of me. The fire ape primogenitor said angrily. I'm very honest. How am I presumptuous? Gu Fei shrugged and said helplessly. He didn't want to be enemies with the fire ape primogenitor. After all, the fire ape primogenitor was an extreme Dao divine being. Offending such an invincible being was naturally an extremely unwise move. How dare you attack my race's ancestral ground? Die. At that moment, the incomparably powerful figure hovering above the divine tree of immortality said as he sent a palm strike towards Gu Fei and the others. Towering golden divine flames immediately erupted from the figure, shaking the heavens and earth. The space enveloped by the golden divine flames was constantly being annihilated. This kind of extreme Dao-grade divine flame was truly terrifying. Even a quasi-supreme being would be instantly burned to ashes if they were to be burned by this divine flame, and their lives would be extinguished in an instant. Swoosh. At the same time, Gu Fei also moved. He directly slashed with all his might, and the blade light of the extreme Dao level directly broke through the layers of divine flames and slashed at the opponent's large hand. In the next moment, the Golden Crow primogenitor's clone's flaming hand dissipated in the air. At the same time, the blade light that Gu Fei slashed out also disappeared. The two extreme Dao divine powers cancelled each other out and destroyed each other. Who do you think you are? The ruler of this place? Gu Fei said disdainfully as he looked at the huge figure. How dare you look down on me? The Golden Crow primogenitor's clone was enraged. He couldn't walk out of the killing formation because once he did, he wouldn't be able to replenish his energy from the ancestral Earth meridian. Under such circumstances, the Golden Crow primogenitor's clone was naturally not Gu Fei's opponent. Therefore, he wouldn't leave the killing formation. Chapter 3368. The power that Gu Fei displayed. Even Mo Joyo, who had lived for countless years, was shocked. This guy actually dared to fight against the Golden Crow ancestor's incarnation. In the eyes of Mo Joyo and the rest, Gu Fei was only a quasi-supreme being. Even though he had the peerless blade in his hand, he could fight against an existence with extreme power. But Gu Fei could only fight against Mo Joyo, Kang Q and these fake sovereigns. If he met a true sovereign, he definitely had to kneel. However, the power that Gu Fei displayed, it was much stronger than what Mo Joyo and the rest had estimated. Moreover, he had quite a lot of extreme level items on him. Gu Fei wore the sky blue immortal gold battle armor. Even though this battle armor was still lacking, it wasn't a true extreme level battle armor. But the materials were heaven-defying. It was a battle armor made from the immortal gold sky blue immortal gold. This battle armor could be worn on one's body. It could block all auras. If Gu Fei was willing, no one could sense his existence. even if he didn't use one of the 9 secrets of the immortal path. Of course, the sky blue immortal gold battle armor could also block the aura of the outside world. Even the aura of the extreme level could be blocked outside. This was also why Jiyu Fei wasn't affected by the aura of the fire ape ancestor. At this moment, in the depths of the Golden Crow race's ancestral land, where the immortal god tree was, 3 experts were facing off against each other. And among these 3 experts, Jiyu Fei was the weakest. The fire ape ancestor. That was an extreme level expert. Even though he was sealed for countless years. But he was still a true extreme level expert. He wasn't someone that Mo Joyo and Kang Q could compare to. In the current ancestral god realm, a fire ape ancestor appeared. This was an accident. But it was also inevitable. Most likely, when the Golden Crow ancestor sealed the fire ape ancestor in the ancestral land, he had already predicted all of this. The fire ape ancestor's escape. It would completely change the power structure of the entire ancestral god realm. Little fellow. How dare you look down on me? Damn it. Above the immortal god tree, the peerless killing formation of the Golden Crow clan was operating. The aura of the extreme Tao spread out in all directions, suppressing the entire region. It was extremely terrifying. Within the killing array, the figure was blurry. However, the aura it exuded was definitely not weaker than a true extreme-grade powerhouse. A mere incarnation. He shouldn't have such combat strength. But because of the killing array, however, he was able to compete with extreme-grade powerhouses. The killing formation attracted the power of the ancestral earth vein. He had the power of the ancestral earth vein. This allowed the Golden Crow ancestor's clone to truly possess the power to contend against an extreme-grade supremacy. However, borrowing power like this had its drawbacks. That was the human array unity. Only then would they be able to unleash power comparable to an extreme Tao supremacy. Therefore, the Golden Crow ancestor's clone could not leave the extreme Tao killing formation. Otherwise, the fire ape progenitor would easily kill him. Haha. Come out if you dare. I can kill you with just one hand. Jiyu Fei pointed his saber at the figure standing in the extreme Tao killing formation. He said proudly. The murderous aura exuded from the saber. Heaven and earth paled in comparison. Little guy. You are too presumptuous. If it was in the ancient times, I could kill you countless times with one finger. The Golden Crow ancestor's clone said angrily. Is that so? Haha. Unfortunately, this is no longer your era. Jiyu Fei smiled. Courting death. Above the immortal god tree, the blurry figure standing in the extreme Tao killing formation was furious. He directly reached out to grab Jiyu Fei. The boundless flames turned into a huge hand. A huge hand that covered the sky. This huge hand covered the entire sky. Rumble, the huge hand fell. The void that was covered by the huge hand instantly exploded. It was directly destroyed. Buzz. Jiyu Fei laughed heartily. He slashed upwards with his saber. A destructive saber light immediately shot out from the peerless murderous saber. The saber light shot up to the sky. Like a hot knife through butter. It actually broke through the divine flame hand that came down from the sky. The huge divine flame hand was split in half by the saber light that came from the peerless murderous saber. Then it disappeared in the void. After the saber light broke through the divine flame hand, its momentum did not decrease. It directly shot up to the sky. It disappeared at the end of the sky. What a domineering extreme Tao divine saber. From what I know, there has never been such a murderous saber in the ancestral god realm. This murderous saber is not from this world. The Golden Crow ancestor's clone said in shock. This is also not from the Chaos Demon realm. At this moment, far in the sky, Mo Joyo, who was under the protection of the cauldron of mountain and river, muttered to himself. This Jiyu Fei, be it in the Chaos Demon realm, or the ancestral god realm, they were all just passers-by. To think that I would meet someone from another world. The Golden Crow ancestor's clone said. Ji Fei didn't say anything. An expert from another world. At this moment, after hearing the Golden Crow ancestor's words, the Fire Ape ancestor was curious about Ji Fei. A being from another world. What was different about him? Fire Ape. You won't take revenge. This guy sealed you in the ancestral earth vein for countless years. Ji Fei said to the Fire Ape ancestor. Yes. Revenge first. The Fire Ape ancestor didn't hesitate. He took a step forward. In an instant, he was in front of the killing formation above the undying god tree. He actually attacked the killing formation directly. The ferocious ape swung his fist. It was just a punch. The entire extreme Dao killing formation shook. Countless formation runes appeared. Even the figure in the killing formation was shaken. You're crazy. I'm your big brother. Why would I harm you? The figure in the killing formation exclaimed. Preposterous. You sealed me in that dark place for so long. What else could it be other than harming me? The Fire Ape ancestor was furious. He punched the extreme Dao killing array again and again. Not just the formation. Even the entire world began to shake along with it. Damn it. If I didn't seal you in the ancestral earth vein, do you think you can still live until now? The Golden Crow ancestor roared. Hearing the Golden Crow ancestor's words, the Fire Ape ancestor's movement paused. However, at this moment, Ji Fei was already charging over. He raised his hand and slashed at the extreme Dao killing array. The power of the peerless blade exploded. It turned into a destructive blade light. The blade light fell. In an instant, countless formation patterns were dispersed by this saber strike. However, the killing formation was after all an extreme killing formation. It couldn't be destroyed by one slash. As expected, the Golden Crow ancestor's incarnation, who was standing in the killing formation, blocked the extremely domineering blade light. Then, he attacked Ji Fei. Many flames that were hard to see with the naked eye were like thin lines. They flew towards Ji Fei. They were extremely fast. But Ji Fei didn't have any intention of dodging. When the streaks of fiery light were about 3 feet away from Ji Fei, all of a sudden, Ji Fei's body trembled. It was as if they had hit a transparent wall. All of them were blocked. Seeing this scene, the Golden Crow ancestor's incarnation was shocked. Roar! At this moment, a roar rang out. The Fire Ape progenitor had actually broken through the extreme Dao killing formation. He charged into the killing formation. He was extremely ferocious. Rumble, the next moment. Cries of surprise came from the killing formation. The sound of fighting. It was a mess. Countless formation runes were destroyed in the air. This was a rare opportunity. Ji Fei quickly attacked with all his might. The peerless ominous blade in his hand flew up. It turned into a huge black dragon. Roar! The dragon roared at the sky. The sky was shaking, as if it could fall at any time. Above the starry sky, billions of stars shook. The ferocious aura was monstrous. This is far above the sky. Seeing this scene, all the experts were shocked. The extreme Dao aura that erupted from the black dragon was so powerful that it was unimaginable. Even the experts of the East Continent who were watching from outside the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. At this moment, they also felt their souls trembling. They were extremely frightened. Even the Fire Ape ancestor, who had charged into the killing formation, couldn't help but be shocked. The black dragon formed by the ominous blade pounced down from the sky towards the killing formation. With just one pounce, a large area of the void below directly shattered. The black dragon formed by the peerless ominous blade was extremely ferocious. He directly charged into the extreme Dao killing array. The power of the extreme path exploded. The killing formation was collapsing. No! The clone of the Golden Crow ancestor screamed in fear. Once the killing formation collapsed, he couldn't summon the power of the ancestral earth vein. As a result, it would be destroyed. Boom! The blurry figure began to fight with all his might. The power of the extreme golden sun erupted from his body. A golden feather appeared in his hand. It was the golden feather that had unleashed the golden sun-burning sky. It contained the extreme power of the extreme path. Now it was in the hands of the clone of the golden crow ancestor. Mph. At this moment. Can you still turn the tables? The fire ape ancestor roared. He attacked with all his might. The extreme power kept erupting. Every living being in the east continent of the ancestral god realm felt this aura. In front of the might of the extreme path, all living beings were ant-like existences. At this moment, the scene high up in the sky was incomparably shocking. Inside the killing formation, a mountain-like fire ape and a mountain-like black dragon were attacking a figure that was emitting endless golden light. Roar! The black dragon opened its mouth and spat out a mouthful of divine flame. The divine flame spread out in an instant. It burned towards the clone of the golden crow ancestor. At the same time, the huge fire ape grabbed the clone of the golden crow ancestor. It tore one of the clone's arms off. It was extremely ferocious. This. Chapter 3369. The golden crow ancestor's avatar was no different from a real person. It also had a body of flesh and blood, which surprised Gu Fei. One should know that the avatars cultivated by ordinary cultivators were all illusions. Avatars and avatars were different. Avatars didn't have a body of flesh and blood, but avatars did. Gu Fei's two avatars were real and not illusions. The difference between avatars and avatars was the difference between illusion and reality. Avatars could dissipate and disappear completely. When they were killed, nothing would be left. Avatars, on the other hand, were real. If an avatar was killed by an opponent, it would either leave a corpse or show its true form. Gu Fei originally thought that the illusory figure in the extreme Dao killing formation was a clone, but when he attacked the killing formation with his peerless ominous saber, he discovered that it was different. The Golden Crow ancestor's method was indeed brilliant. He actually used this method. One should know that there was a difference in the battle strength of an incarnation and a clone. A real avatar would naturally be much stronger than an avatar. If it was any other expert who rashly attacked the killing formation and encountered an avatar instead of an avatar, then they would be in trouble. However, the ones who attacked the formation were the fire ape ancestor and the black dragon formed by Gu Fei's ominous blade. The fire ape ancestor and the black dragon formed by the ominous blade didn't care if the opponent was an avatar or an avatar. The two experts joined hands and killed the Golden Crow ancestor's avatar in an instant. The Golden Crow race's killing formation was collapsing. At this moment, Gu Fei had already retreated to the mountain and river cauldron because the god inside the ominous blade had awakened. To Gu Fei, this was definitely a good thing, a very good thing. The ominous blade's god had awakened. It was as if a supreme being had appeared in the world. Roar! The black dragon roared and spat out a mouthful of divine flames. Countless runes around it were incinerated and dissipated in the void. At this moment, the fire ape ancestor was extremely ferocious. He tore off the Golden Crow ancestor's avatar's arm. Golden blood sprayed all over the fire ape ancestor. The Golden Crow ancestor's avatar's blood contained an enormous amount of golden sun essence. If other living beings were to be splashed with this blood, they would have been burned to ashes. However, the fire ape ancestor and the Golden Crow ancestor were both life forms born from the god sun. They came from the same source. The Golden Crow ancestor's avatar's blood was not only harmless to the fire ape ancestor, but it was also a great tonic that could increase its battle power. The fire ape primogenitor swallowed the Golden Crow primogenitor's arm and continued to attack, wanting to tear off the other arm of the Golden Crow primogenitor's clone and eat it. However, the clone of the Golden Crow ancestor directly used the blood shield and dove into the depths of the earth, charging into the earth ancestor's vein. What, in the distant sky, Gu Fei was shocked when he saw this scene. The fire ape primogenitor and the peerless ominous blade gods will had joined forces to attack, yet the Golden Crow primogenitor's clone had escaped. It escaped. Kang Q panicked. One should know that it was the Golden Crow ancestor's avatar. If it escaped, it would be a huge problem. Rumble! At this moment, the entire ancestral land shook. Even the immortal tree was shaking. It was undergoing a shocking change. The huge tree shone with a dazzling divine light. Countless golden lights flickered on the treetop. Those were the golden crows. The immortal tree was shrinking rapidly, and the golden crows on the treetop were shrinking as well. Jiu Fei was shocked when he saw this. Was the immortal god tree trying to escape? No one could remain calm. Kang Qiu was panicking because the clone of the golden crow ancestor had escaped, while Jiu Fei was panicking because the immortal god tree was about to escape. In Jiu Fei's eyes, the immortal god tree was the most important. This living being that had lived for countless years was known as the immortal tree. It had gained sentience. When it sensed danger, the immortal tree would naturally escape. Old man, if you don't act now, then when? We can't let that tree escape. Jiu Fei yelled at the mountain and river cauldron floating above his head. Only the awakened god of the mountain and river cauldron had the ability to catch the immortal tree. Even Kang Qiu and Mo Jiuyo could not catch the immortal tree at this moment. One should know that the Golden Crow clan's supreme killing formation was collapsing. The power of the supreme path spread. If it was not for the mountain and river cauldron's protection, even they would have to kneel before this power. At this moment, a small old man suddenly rushed out from the mountain and river cauldron. Got it. I'll be right there, the small old man said impatiently. He then took a step forward and disappeared into the void. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. No one expected Jiu Fei to be able to command the mysterious and unfathomable gods while inside the supreme divine weapon. In the next moment, the small old man appeared in front of the immortal tree. He then reached out with his hand, intending to grab the entire immortal tree. Buzz. At the same time, a rumble was heard from the immortal tree. Then, a ball of golden light appeared on the immortal tree and enveloped the entire immortal tree. However, at this moment, the entire void was sealed by the power of the mountain and river cauldron. It would not be easy for the immortal tree to escape. Whoosh! With a flash of golden light, the immortal tree entered the ancestral earth vein and disappeared. What? Jiu Fei was dumbfounded. Even the mountain and river cauldron could not take the immortal tree away. How was that possible? Did the Golden Crow ancestor have a backup plan? That guy must have done something. Otherwise, how could this happen? Kang Qiu roared. No one knew the Golden Crow ancestor better than he did. The Golden Crow ancestor was a decisive but cautious person. In the ancient age, during Kang Qiu's era, he had never seen the Golden Crow ancestor lose to anyone. Even Kang Qiu himself was stabbed in the back by the Golden Crow ancestor. As expected, another powerful force of the Supreme God Path exploded where the immortal tree was rooted. A Supreme God teleportation formation rose from deep underground. The Golden Crow ancestor's clone was able to escape into the ancestral earth vein, and the immortal tree was able to escape from the mountain and river cauldron's god because of this underground teleportation formation. It was no ordinary teleportation formation. It was an Supreme God teleportation formation. The Supreme God teleportation formation that rose from deep underground automatically disintegrated in the void. The runes that formed the formation were also quickly disappearing. Preposterous. When Kang Qiu saw the situation, he could not help cursing. Golden Crow first ancestor, that bastard actually still had such a contingency plan. At this moment, Jiu Fei was speechless as well. However, this was normal. The Golden Crow ancestor would leave a way out for his people. It could only be said that Golden Crow's ancestor had predicted everything that could happen, and the preparation he made was fully displayed. The Golden Crow clan and the immortal tree had definitely escaped into the Earth Ancestor's Earth Meridian. Only the essence of the Earth Ancestor's Earth Meridian could completely cover the aura of the Golden Crow clan and the immortal tree. The Supreme God teleportation formation could send the Golden Crow clan far away, but it was not safe. Existences like the Fire Ape ancestor could definitely tear apart the void and drag out the living beings that had escaped into the void. In front of an existence like the Fire Ape ancestor, the teleportation formation was merely a decoration. To the Golden Crow clan, escaping into the ancestral earth vein was the only way to be safe. The ancestral earth vein extended in all directions. The Golden Crow clan could follow the direction of the ancestral earth vein and escape to any place in the eastern continent that had the ancestral earth vein. Damn it! At this moment, the little old man was displeased. He had personally taken action, yet the immortal tree had escaped. How could he let it go? The little old man extended his right hand, and the mountain and river cauldron flew towards him. In the next moment, he and the mountain and river cauldron became one, and a middle-aged warrior appeared before everyone. This middle-aged warrior was also the god of the mountain and river cauldron. At this moment, he had changed his appearance. He was tall, mighty, and looked fierce. "Old man, what are you playing at?" Jiyu Fei asked. "I am going to war. No one has ever dared to play tricks in front of me without paying the price." The god of the mountain and river cauldron tore apart the void and took a step forward, entering the ancestral earth vein deep underground. This, Jiyu Fei was shocked. If the god of the mountain and river cauldron was angry, it would be a very serious matter. At this moment, the black dragon formed by the peerless ominous blade rushed back. The ominous aura of the extreme path made all living beings tremble, including Kangqiu and Mojoyo. That was a true extreme path existence. It was equivalent to the arrival of an extreme path supreme. In the next moment, the mountain-like black dragon gradually became faint and illusory. The ominous aura of the extreme path retreated like the tide. In the end, the ferocious black dragon disappeared, and a black blade appeared in front of everyone. A powerful hand reached out and grasped the pitilessly fierce saber. At this moment, everyone looked at Jiyu Fei differently. This person actually had so many nature-defying items. His luck was truly nature-defying. "Master, what should we do?" the monster god asked. Their purpose of attacking the Golden Crow clan's ancestral earth was simple: it was for the immortal tree. However, the immortal tree had escaped. "Wait. The old man will bring that divine tree back," Jiyu Fei said fiercely. Chapter 3370. The ancestor of the Golden Crow race had a backup plan. Not only did a clone of the Golden Crow ancestor escape, but the Tree of Immortality had also escaped. This made Jiyu Fei both shocked and angry. Although the god of the mountain and river cauldron had gone after the Tree of Immortality, it was hard to say if he could catch the tree. At this time, Jiyu Fei noticed that the fire ape ancestor was staring at the supreme ominous saber in his hand. His eyes were flickering with malicious intent. "Old ape, are you thinking of stealing my saber?" Jiyu Fei turned around and said to the fire ape ancestor. "Daoist friend, you've misunderstood. Since this saber has already recognized its master, why would I dare to steal it?" The fire ape ancestor said embarrassedly. The power displayed by the supreme ominous saber was clear for all to see. It was like the arrival of an extreme supreme being. After being sealed for so long, the fire ape ancestor was still injured. Although he did not fall from the extreme supreme realm, his combat power was greatly weakened. Right now, the fire ape ancestor could only unleash about 60% of his peak combat power. "Mph, if this saber of mine hadn't recognized me as its master, you would have tried to steal it." Jiyu Fei looked at the fire ape ancestor and said indifferently, "Hee hee." The fire ape ancestor smiled but did not say anything. In the next moment, the fire ape ancestor shot up into the sky and disappeared into the void. He left just like that. No one knew where he went. Jiyu Fei did not expect the fire ape ancestor to leave so suddenly. He was a little surprised. Of course, he did not care whether the fire ape ancestor left or not. With the supreme ominous saber in hand, Jiyu Fei was not afraid of the fire ape ancestor. At this time, the remaining demons began to clean up the battlefield. This battle was truly tragic. The Golden Crow race had suffered great losses, but the demons from beyond the heavens had also suffered great losses. "Brother Jiyu, we've tried our best." Mojoyo came to the side of Jiyu Fei and said. He sighed. The result of this battle was not what he wanted. But in order to return to his hometown, he had no choice but to swallow this evil fruit. "All right, once this matter is settled, I will activate the formation platform and send you back to the Chaos Devil realm." Jiyu Fei looked at Mojoyo seriously and said. He was very satisfied with the performance of the demons from beyond the heavens in this battle. As a condition, he naturally had to activate the teleportation formation and send Mo Juyo back to the Chaos Realm. "Thank you in advance," Mo Juyo said. He was really afraid that Ji Yu Fei would not fulfill his promise. One should know that the demons from beyond the heavens had paid a huge price this time. At this moment, Kang Q brought the remaining clansmen into the depths of the ancestral land. This was where the Earth ancestral vein was located. Although a great battle had taken place here, it didn't affect the Earth ancestral vein. This used to be the ancestral land of the chaotic golden rock race. Now that they had returned, they were filled with emotions. "Ancestor, we're finally back." Peng Jingtian choked with sobs. The other clansmen of the chaotic golden rock race were also extremely emotional. Their eyes were brimming with tears. They had been away for too long. Ever since Kang Q was trapped in the Chaos Devil realm, the ancestors of the Golden Crow race had raised the butcher's knife against them. Except for a few clansmen of the chaotic Golden Rock race who managed to escape, the rest were directly slaughtered by the ancestors of the Golden Crow race. For countless years, the Golden Crow race had never given up on hunting down the chaotic Golden Rock race. It could be said that the current chaotic Golden Rock race was living a wandering life. They were always on tenterhooks because they didn't know when the experts of the Golden Crow race would suddenly appear. This was a great battle between experts of the extreme Dao level. The sky and earth were broken. The broken void was constantly repaired under the effect of the heaven and earth law. "We're finally back." Kang Q sighed. After leaving for countless years, he never thought that he would come back in this way. The ground was barren. It was all solidified by the melted magma of the Golden Sun Divine Fire. The Golden Crow race was really ruthless. They had directly returned to a land full of vitality. It was really a pity. Of course, this ancestral land wasn't really threatened. In time, it would become a land full of vitality again. The Golden Crow race has lost. At this time, outside the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan, the experts who were watching were all stunned by this result. The Golden Crow clan was so powerful, but their ancestral land was actually conquered. When did the devils of the extraterrestrial devil region become so powerful? The experts who were watching from afar began to retreat. No one would be stupid enough to provoke the guys in the ancestral land at this time. In fact, the battlefield was very clean. The Golden Sun Divine Fire released by the clone of the Golden Crow race had burned everything. Not even a corpse or a fragment of a divine artifact could be seen. Very soon, the demons of the extraterrestrial demon area began to retreat as well. At this moment, Ji Yu Fei arrived at the place where the Tree of Immortality had taken root. The ground there had collapsed, forming a bottomless hole. This, Ji Yu Fei was very surprised. He knew that the Tree of Immortality had taken root here to nourish itself with the essence of the ancestral vein of the earth. Did this hole lead directly to the ancestral vein of the earth? Ji Yu Fei's eyes lit up when he thought of that. He thought about it, then sent out a clone of himself. It was another him, possessing extremely powerful battle prowess. He handed the mountain river diagram to his incarnation. The landscape diagram was a supreme god artifact. With its protection, even the clone of the Golden Crow race's ancestor would not be able to harm his clone. Afterwards, Ji Yu Fei's clone jumped into the pitch-black hole in front of him. Ji Yu Fei's clone could only hear the wind whistling in his ears. His body was falling rapidly. This seemed to be a bottomless abyss, as if there was no end to it. After a while, Ji Yu Fei felt his clone enter a very large space. It was a place where endless essence of the world had gathered. Ji Yu Fei's clone could not sense any other presences at all. In this pitch-black space, it was as if only Ji Yu Fei's clone was walking alone. Forget it. Ji Yu Fei's clone retreated, then directly rushed into the sky, charging out from the depths of the earth. He did not want to get lost in the ancestral vein of the earth. At this moment, the huge hole in the ground was absorbing the essence of the world. Ji Yu Fei immediately kept his clone and the landscape diagram. He could only wait for news from the god of the mountain and river cauldron. Everything on the ground of the Golden Crow race's ancestral land had been destroyed. The entire ground had sunk by several feet. At this moment, Kang Q had started to repair the divine land. As the demons retreated, the huge ancestral land was only left with the clansmen of the chaotic Golden Rock race. However, there were not many clansmen of the chaotic Golden Rock race. At this moment, Kang Q realized the importance of manpower. After returning from the Chaos Demon realm, Kang Q had almost become a commander with no manpower. This was something unimaginable for a former supreme god ancestor like him. In the past, the chaotic Golden Rock race was so powerful. However, it had declined to the point where it was almost extinct. Thinking of the culprit who caused all of this, Kang Q gritted his teeth. He could not wait to skin that guy alive. However, that guy had disappeared. He could only vent his anger on all the clansmen of the Golden Crow race. However, even the remaining clansmen of the Golden Crow race had escaped. This made Kang Q furious. He swore that he would not rest until the Golden Crow race was destroyed. Brother Gu. At this moment, Gu Fei came to Kang Q's side. Did you find anything? Gu Fei asked. No, the guys of the Golden Crow race destroyed everything. Kang Q said angrily. Do you need help? Gu Fei looked around and said. It would be great if Brother Gu could lend us a hand, Emo said with a smile. Kang Q said happily. It's nothing. As Gu Fei said, he waved his right hand and a scroll appeared in the void. In the next moment, countless demons walked out of the landscape diagram. There was strength in numbers. With the help of countless demons, the terrain of the entire Earth Ancestor Vein was rapidly changing. The scorched land was once again filled with endless vitality. In less than a day, everything that was burned by the Golden Sun primary fire was restored. Trees were transplanted into the ancestral land. Gu Fei took action and drew the spring of life from his inner world. A light rain fell from the sky. The spring water turned into rainwater and fell on every corner of the ancestors' land. Soon, the entire region was filled with vitality again, and a rainbow light appeared in the sky. Why isn't that guy back yet? The deity of the mountain and river cauldron had not returned yet. Gu Fei felt uneasy. Could there be someone in this world who could compete with the deity of the mountain and river cauldron? A day passed quickly and night fell. The stars in the sky were exceptionally bright and the air was filled with a faint fragrance. Gu Fei sat on a boulder on the top of a mountain and looked at the clansmen of the chaotic Golden Rock race who were busy building pavilions at the foot of the mountain. At this moment, the entire ancestral land had changed greatly. There were pavilions, small bridges, and flowing water. Spiritual energy lingered in the air and the figures of immortal birds could be seen in the distance. Boom! In the dead of night, a loud noise suddenly sounded in the sky above the ancestral land. Then, the void shattered and a figure rushed out from the shattered void. The person's clothes were ragged and his hair was unkempt. He looked extremely miserable. Old man. At this moment, Gu Fei saw the person rushing out from the shattered void and immediately recognized him. He was the deity of the mountain and river cauldron. Swoosh. Gu Fei stood up from the boulder and took a step forward, instantly disappearing into the void. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the deity of the mountain and river cauldron. What's going on? Where's the immortal tree? Chapter 3371. The god of the cauldron returned in a sorry state, shocking Gu Fei. One must know that this was the god of the cauldron, an existence equivalent to an extreme grade sovereign. Who could make the god of the cauldron, who could contend against an extreme grade sovereign, look so pathetic? That bastard actually set up all sorts of traps in the ancestral earth vein. How infuriating. The god of the cauldron, who had turned into an old man, was fuming with rage. It turned out that the Golden Crow ancestor had not only left a contingency plan in the ancestral land of the Golden Crows, he had also set up all sorts of traps in the ancestral earth vein to prevent enemies that were too powerful to chase after the fleeing Golden Crows. One had to admit that the ancestor of the Golden Crow clan had really calculated everything. As a result, the god of the cauldron was in big trouble. The traps and killer moves that the Golden Crow ancestor had set up were not ordinary. They were all at the extreme grade sovereign level and were powered by the power of the ancestral earth vein. The power gathered by the ancestral earth vein of the entire ancestral god realm's eastern continent was so powerful that even a true extreme-grade sovereign would be fearful. The killer moves that the Golden Crow ancestor had set up by drawing on the power of the ancestral earth vein could naturally harm an extreme-grade sovereign. However, the cauldron was one of the strongest extreme-grade Dao artifacts in history. Even the traps that the Golden Crow ancestor had set up in the ancestral earth vein could not truly harm the god of the cauldron. Even so, the Golden Crow ancestor's tricks had left the little old man in a sorry state despite not harming the god of the cauldron. That means that the tree of immortality has escaped. Ji Fei said in disbelief. What do you think? The little old man said in annoyance. If I were to chase after it, I would definitely be able to catch it. At this moment, a divine consciousness was transmitted from Ji Fei's body. Then, a little black dragon rushed out from his body and landed on his shoulder, looking at the little old man in disdain. What did you say? How dare you look down on me? When I debuted, you were still wearing diapers. The little old man was displeased. Don't flaunt your seniority in front of me. The little black dragon spoke with incomparable arrogance. Although it was small, a tyrannical fiendish aura emanated from its tiny body. Even someone as powerful as Ji Fei couldn't help but feel his heart palpitate at this moment. At this time, Ji Fei's forehead was beaded with sweat. The little black dragon was naturally the manifestation of the peerless ominous saber. These extreme Dao-level Dao treasures had already gained sentience and could transform. One had to know that, to a certain extent, an extreme Dao tool was also a kind of life, a different kind of life form. What, you want to see whose fist is harder? The little old man waved his fist and said. Be careful that I don't eat you. The little black dragon said. He was still incomparably arrogant because he had the right to be arrogant. He was the fiercest dragon in all of history. Even the Tai Huang was not as fierce as him. Come. If I don't teach you a lesson, I won't be able to. The little old man was very displeased with the little black dragon's incomparably cold and arrogant attitude. He actually dared to act so fiercely in front of this daddy. He simply didn't know the immensity of the heavens and the earth. He was too arrogant. Since ancient times, who had dared to act so arrogantly in front of him? Little Loach. The little black dragon standing on Ji Fei's shoulder was also enraged. No one had ever dared to call him a little loach in front of him. This had touched his reverse scale. I say, have you all forgotten my existence? Ji Fei scratched his head. It was this little loach who started it. If we don't teach this little loach a lesson, this little loach will really think that he's invincible. The little old man shrugged his shoulders. Come, let me see how much ability an old man like you has left. You dare to flaunt your seniority in front of this dragon. The little black dragon stared at the little old man and said coldly. Don't. There's no need to harm our friendship. Ji Fei frowned. If these two fellas were to get into a fight, things would get really troublesome. One had to know that these two fellas were both extreme Dao existences. The god of the mountain and river cauldron was naturally supremely strong. This fella had lived for countless of years. To put it bluntly, the number of bridges that this fella had crossed was even more than the number of roads that Lin Fan had walked. However, that little black dragon was no simple fella either. Back in that ancient era, he was known as the Great Ferocious Dragon. Even the Tai Emperor wasn't as ferocious as him. The little old man glared at the little black dragon on Ji Fei's shoulder with a furious look. As for the little black dragon, it was also glaring at the little old man with its dragon eyes. Both of these fellas ignored Ji Fei. Don't really get into a fight. If you guys aren't careful, I'm going to be in deep trouble. Ji Fei hurriedly said. If two extreme Dao existences were to fight, wouldn't he be dead for sure? Even if he was wearing the sky blue immortal gold battle armor, he wouldn't be able to withstand the might of the extreme Dao. If the mountain and river cauldron and the peerless ferocious saber were to fight, who could possibly separate them? It would definitely be an earth-shattering battle. In fact, the destruction would be even more terrifying than the battle with the clone of the Golden Crow ancestor. Then let's fight on the mental plane. The little old man said. All right. The little black dragon didn't object. Sheeing. In the next instant, Jiu Fei felt a buzzing sound ringing in his ears. He then realized that he was already in a white void where he couldn't see the sky nor the earth. At this moment, two auras of the extreme Tao suddenly descended upon this white void, causing the entire void to tremble. A battle on the mental plane? Why am I here as well? Before Jiu Fei could figure out what was going on, the two extreme Tao existences had already begun fighting. All he could see was an ancient cauldron and a black saber clashing together. Boom! There was a huge explosion, and the entire void seemed like it was about to explode. The vast and mighty extreme Tao energy caused Jiu Fei to be incomparably shocked. He hurriedly tried to retreat. However, the extreme Tao energy that was enough to destroy everything had already arrived. What? Jiu Fei's shock was no small matter. He was about to be killed by these two fellows. However, just when he thought that he was about to die to this vast extreme Tao energy, he saw the energy directly pass through his body and surge behind him. Jiu Fei hurriedly touched his body and discovered that he hadn't suffered any injuries at all. The extreme Tao energy seemed to be an illusion. Could it be that all of this is an illusion? Jiu Fei was extremely shocked. The little old man said that he was fighting the little black dragon on the mental plane. Could it be that this was a void that had evolved on the mental plane? No one answered Jiu Fei's question. However, at his level of cultivation, he was only a step away from becoming an invincible supreme being in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, so he could vaguely guess how such a phenomenon appeared. At this moment, an ancient cauldron and a black dragon were constantly colliding in the vast white void, causing incomparably shocking sounds to erupt. Although Jiu Fei had already guessed that this was all an illusion, it was extremely real. It was as if there were really two extreme Tao treasures fighting. At this moment, in the outside world, on the mountain where Jiu Fei was located, an extreme Tao energy spread out. This extreme Tao energy enveloped the entire mountain. What's happening? The extreme Tao aura emitted from Jiu Fei's mountain naturally alarmed all the experts in the ancestral land of the chaotic Golden Rock clan. Kang Q's figure immediately appeared in the void near the mountain. He didn't dare to go forward rashly because he sensed two familiar auras. The mountain river cauldron and the peerless ominous blade. What are these two Tao weapons doing? Kang Q muttered to himself. This made him very puzzled and curious. He was very familiar with the power of the mountain river cauldron and the peerless ominous blade. Naturally, he knew what terrifying things would happen once these two Tao weapons went all out. Soon, Mo Joyo and the demon god also arrived. The figures of the 3 stone demons also appeared in the distant sky, staring at the mountain below. What's going on? The demon god asked Kang Q. Jiu Fei's life and death were closely related to him. If Jiu Fei died, then no one could help him remove the restrictive technique that Jiu Fei had planted on him. That kind of restrictive technique was extremely powerful. Once it was activated, even the demon god would directly perish in both body and soul. The demon god naturally didn't want to die in such a sullen and unworthy manner. How would I know? Kang Q said. Just when all the experts in the ancestral land had arrived, Jiu Fei was in the vast white void, witnessing the battle between the two extreme Tao weapons. Although all of this happened on the spiritual level and wasn't real, Jiu Fei felt as if he was there and it was extremely real. At that moment, the mountain river cauldron had turned into a little old man and was fighting endlessly with the dragon formed by the peerless ominous blade. Roar! The little old man suddenly roared angrily and turned around to ride on the little black dragon's back, hugging it tightly with both hands. No matter how the little black dragon rolled and struggled, it couldn't shake off the little old man. Seeing this scene, Jiu Fei was extremely shocked. Do you submit? The little old man directly grabbed the dragon's whiskers and swung his right fist, punching the little black dragon's head over and over again. Bang, bang, bang. The sound was as dull as thunder. No. The little black dragon roared angrily. He wasn't an existence that would yield so easily. All extreme Tao weapons were very proud because they were the most powerful extreme Tao weapons since ancient times. In the current world, they were absolutely invincible. If you don't submit, I'll beat you until you submit. The little old man's fists did not stop and actually broke the little black dragon's 2 dragon horns, causing blood to flow. This was dragon blood, a great tonic. Jiu Fei couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this scene from afar. A battle between extreme Dao-level experts was indeed very dangerous. Soon, the little black dragon's head was full of bumps from the little old man's beating. Chapter 3372. Although the little old man from the cauldron of mountains and rivers and the little black dragon from the unparalleled ominous blade were fighting on a spiritual level, this battle was far too real for Jiu Fei. The little old man rode on the little black dragon's back and punched out. One of the little black dragon's horns broke with a loud crack and dragon blood splattered everywhere. The little old man was truly too ferocious at this moment. The energy waves that erupted from his small body caused the heavens to pale in comparison. The little black dragon roared incessantly and rolled around with all his might, trying to shake off the little old man riding on his back. However, the little old man seemed to have taken root on his back and could not be shaken off no matter how hard he tried. Preposterous. The little black dragon was about to go crazy. This fellow was truly too hateful. He actually dared to ride on his back. One had to know that since ancient times, no one had ever dared to ride on his back. Of course, that was except for the little black dragon's first master, who had refined him into the unparalleled ominous blade. In that distant era, the little black dragon was once a peerless ominous being whose name shook the entire world. He was equally famous as the great ominous mysterious yellow dragon. He had rampaged through the entire world and was practically invincible. However, in that era where experts emerged in large numbers, even the most powerful existences would fall at some point. The great ominous azure dragon was a little unlucky. He had encountered a super abnormal fellow who had refined him into a blade called the azure dragon blade. The unparalleled ominous blade did not have a name, but on the day it was refined, the super abnormal fellow wielded it and used it to slay 13 supreme experts. Thus, from that era onward, those powerful existences began to call the seemingly unremarkable black blade the unparalleled ominous blade. As time passed, the original name of the blade was forgotten. "Old man, I'm going to kill you." The little black dragon was thoroughly enraged. With a roar, it transformed into a human and then grabbed the shoulder of the little old man on its back. Then, it exerted all its strength to throw the little old man away. Jiu Fei couldn't help but feel shaken when he saw this scene from afar. Although that peerless god was at a disadvantage, it wasn't as if he couldn't fight back. "Haha, you want to kill me? Little loach, you don't have the qualifications." The little old man laughed and disappeared into the void. In the next moment, he suddenly appeared above the head of the black-robed man transformed from the peerless ominous blade god and stomped his foot down on the black-robed man's face. "Old man, you're going too far." The black-robed man was enraged. His right hand instantly transformed into a peerless divine saber and slashed upwards. A terrifying destructive force erupted from the peerless divine saber. Shua. The void was split by this extremely domineering saber light. The power of this saber was a little terrifying. The blade light that had rushed out from the black-robed man's hand collided with the little old man's foot. With a loud boom, the peerless blade light was shattered by the little old man's foot. Bang! In the next moment, the little old man's foot solidly stomped on the black-robed man's face, deforming it completely. The black-robed man screamed and fell from the sky. This part of the world was a vast expanse of whiteness. The peerless ominous blade god didn't know how far he had fallen. He only knew that stars were dancing before his eyes and a footprint had appeared on his face. Aha! The peerless ominous blade god was about to go crazy. That old man actually dared to step on his face. He really didn't give him any face at all. What a bastard! What are you for? At this time, the little old man attacked again. This time, it wasn't a foot. A huge hand descended from the sky and instantly slapped the peerless ominous blade god. The peerless ominous blade god was sent flying. He was at a disadvantage, and it seemed to be an absolute disadvantage. At this time, the peerless ominous blade god stabilized his body and spat out a mouthful of blood. Although it was a spiritual confrontation, it was incomparably real. It was as terrifying as a real battle between two beings of the extreme path. Only Ji Yufei had the fortune to witness this scene. The two powerhouses were displaying the profound meaning of the extreme path, which was a great benefit to him. Being able to watch a battle between extreme-grade powerhouses, even though it was only a battle on the spiritual level, allowed Ji Yufei to have a deeper understanding of the extreme-grade realm. Rumble. The entire spiritual space was shaking. It was terrifying to the extreme. Although the peerless ominous blade god fought with the god of the mountain and river cauldron, the result was the same. Although the peerless ominous blade god was extremely ferocious, the god of the mountain and river cauldron had lived longer than the peerless ominous blade god, and his methods were more brilliant. Of course, the god of the mountain and river cauldron was also stronger than the peerless ominous blade god. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to suppress the peerless ominous blade god. The gods of the two supreme saint treasures had taken human form and were fighting with all their might. It was incomparably intense, and they didn't have any misgivings. Balls of fire exploded, and powerful fire elemental power erupted. Although it wasn't a real duel, Ji Yufei was already drenched in sweat. His clothes were drenched in sweat, as if he had just climbed out of the water. The god of the mountain and river cauldron and the peerless ominous blade god were fighting. The entire void on the spiritual plane was shaking, and a pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the void. In this battle, the god of the mountain and river cauldron always had the upper hand. Although the peerless ominous blade god was powerful and incomparably ferocious, he still couldn't gain the upper hand. In the end, there was a loud bang. The void on the spiritual plane between the god of the mountain and river cauldron and the god of the peerless ominous blade god collapsed. Two powerful waves of divine will intertwined before dissipating. At that moment, Ji Yufei felt the world spinning before his eyes. It was as if the entire world was about to turn upside down, making him feel nauseous. What? Ji Yufei was shocked, but this feeling quickly disappeared. He found himself still standing on the mountaintop, holding a black blade and an ancient cauldron in each hand. Sweat beaded on Ji Yufei's forehead. These two extreme Tao treasures were not simple. Was it the peerless ominous blade or the mountain and river cauldron that was more powerful? Ji Yufei didn't know. Perhaps only the peerless ominous blade and the mountain and river cauldron knew the result. Ji Yufei grabbed the peerless ominous blade and the mountain and river cauldron and stood there foolishly for a while. Then, he came to his senses and carefully put away the two extreme Tao treasures. He didn't dare to offend the god of the peerless ominous blade god or the god of the mountain and river cauldron. To be able to witness a spiritual battle between extreme Tao-level beings was very meaningful to Ji Yufei. After all, he was about to take that step. The extreme Tao treasures were a different kind of life form. To some extent, it could be said that the extreme Tao supreme being had descended. The extreme profound meaning it displayed was very useful to Ji Yufei. He could compare the extreme profound meaning displayed by the extreme Tao treasures with the great Tao meaning he had cultivated to improve his own cultivation of the great Tao. Although this couldn't make Ji Yufei an extreme Tao supreme being, it could allow Ji Yufei to go further in his cultivation of the great Tao and accumulate more experience. Ji Yufei directly jumped onto the boulder beside him, sat cross-legged, and closed his eyes. He wanted to digest the things he obtained from the battle between the god of the mountain and river cauldron and the peerless ominous blade god. He had a feeling in his heart and naturally wanted to verify it. Ji Yufei sat there for several hours. For cultivators, especially those at Ji Yufei's level, several hours were just a blink of an eye. At this time, the experts who were alarmed by the mountain and river cauldron and the peerless ominous blade were bewildered and did not dare to go up the mountain. The two extreme Tao auras that erupted on the mountain had disappeared. Kang Qiu and the demon god were watching. They knew that the only person who could cause such a commotion was Ji Yufei. They were more interested in what Ji Yufei was doing, especially since this matter required the use of extreme Tao level power. This made Kang Qiu and the demon god even more curious. But when they saw Ji Yufei, who was originally standing foolishly on the top of the mountain, had suddenly leaped onto a large rock at his side, and then he sat down cross-legged and actually started cultivating, they were surprised and bewildered. Master, the demon god looked at Ji Yufei, who was sitting cross-legged on a boulder on the top of the mountain, and his face turned solemn. Kang Q was also very curious about what Jiyu Fei had comprehended that made him so eager to cultivate. One must know that they had just defeated the Golden Crow clan and an incarnation of the Golden Crow clan's ancestor had escaped. No one knew what other powerful means the Golden Crow clan's ancestor had left behind. The Golden Crow clan could come back at any time, which was something Kang Q had to guard against. Most importantly, the Golden Crow clan had been operating in the East continent for so many years and naturally had many allies. Kang Q was investigating which force the Golden Crow clan had formed an alliance with to prevent the Golden Crow clan from retaliating. The chaotic Golden Rock clan was too weak, so Kang Q had no choice but to rely on Jiyu Fei's power to protect the ancestral land that they had just taken back from the Golden Crow clan. The demons from the extraterrestrial demon territory had not completely retreated, which was a troublesome matter. It was easy to invite a demon in, but difficult to send one away. Mo Joyo was not someone who would leave easily. If they wanted Mo Joyo to leave, Jiyu Fei would have to step forward. However, Mo Joyo had suffered a great loss this time around. If they wanted him to leave, they would have to pay a price. Otherwise, Mo Joyo would definitely not leave obediently. How troublesome. Chapter 3373. The unusual battle between the Mountain River Cauldron's deity and the Peerless Blade's deity made Jiyu Fei feel something. Hence, he sat down on a boulder at the top of the mountain and comprehended the trace of Dao runes that he had captured. For Jiyu Fei, the extreme grade realm was still difficult to understand and deduce. One must know that it was the extreme grade realm, the end of the Dao. If he could understand and deduce the Dao to the extreme, he would have become an extreme grade supreme long ago. Why would he need to cultivate so hard? There were many cultivators in the world who cultivated painstakingly, even by hook or by crook, for only one purpose, to be immortal and exist forever in the world. Even if the world was destroyed, they could still live on. The extreme grade realm seemed to be the end, but it might also be a new starting point. In today's world, it seemed that no one could be truly immortal. Even extreme grade supremes had fallen, let alone all living beings in the world. Jiyu Fei entered a state of semi-seclusion. However, the place he was at was not suitable because the top of the mountain was not a place for seclusion. Kang Q, the demon god, and the others were a little anxious because there were some things that could only be done by Jiyu Fei. However, at this time, Jiyu Fei entered a state of cultivation that was similar to an epiphany. No one dared to disturb Jiyu Fei because everyone sensed that the two extreme grade auras that appeared in the world previously originated from the top of the mountain where Jiyu Fei was. Even Mo Joyo was very afraid of the two extreme grade auras. Seeing that Jiyu Fei was cultivating on the top of the mountain, he did not want to disturb him at this time. As a result, two forces were formed in the entire chaotic Golden Rock clan's ancestral land. One was Kang Q and the demon god's faction, while the other was Mo Joyo's extraterrestrial demons faction. It was easy to invite the demons, but difficult to send them away. Most of the demons had returned to the extraterrestrial demon territory, but Mo Joyo and some of the demon gods stayed behind. Kang Q and the demon divine lord didn't like those demons, but they couldn't go against Mo Joyo. After all, Mo Joyo was recognized as the strongest expert in the Chaos Demon realm. After the passage between the two worlds was severed, the only reason why the demons trapped in the ancestral god realm were able to survive was because of Mo Joyo's existence. Back then, after that battle, Mo Joyo had fought against the experts of the entire ancestral god realm by himself. After countless bitter battles, he was still alive, while his enemies had all fallen. This was Mo Joyo. He had killed his way to fame, and no one dared to look down on him. The news of Mo Joyo coming out of seclusion had already spread far and wide. At this moment, all the cultivation forces in the eastern continent were extremely nervous, afraid that Mo Joyo would attack them. This was especially true for those forces that were inextricably linked to the Golden Crow clan, and they felt even more uneasy. Although Kang Q had regained the ancestral land that had been occupied by the Golden Crow clan for countless years, his forces were still very weak. Only Peng Jingtian, and Peng Jingtian could take charge. As for the Chaos Golden Rock clan, There were only a few hundred clansmen scattered around the ancestral god realm, and it was no longer the same as when they were at their peak. Compared to Kang Q, the demon divine lord, and the others, Mo Joyo didn't have as many concerns. At this moment, on the mountain top, the sound of wind and thunder came from Ji Yufei's body. The aura of the great Tao was vast and mighty, and the aura of chaos lingered around him. It was as terrifying as if a new world was being created. I didn't expect him to have cultivated the great Tao of chaos to such a level. Mo Joyo's figure appeared in the distant sky. He was still riding on his old black bull. The old black bull still had a listless look on its face. An old man riding on an old bull. If other experts in the ancestral god realm were to see this scene, they would definitely be scared shitless and flee in panic. Ji Yufei cultivated the great Tao of chaos, but his Tao was different from others. It could transform, which would cause misunderstandings, but he was not stupid enough to explain it. The extreme of chaos was primordial chaos. If Ji Yufei's great Tao could transform into the primordial great Tao, he would be able to go one step further and become an extreme supreme being. The strange phenomenon that appeared on Ji Yufei's body was really shocking. The aura of chaos was vast and mighty, and within the aura of chaos, there were even chaotic electric lights blooming, emitting an aura that made people's hearts palpitate. Rumble, in the shocking sound of wind and thunder, Ji Yufei's figure was completely submerged by the aura of chaos, as if a new world of chaos was evolving. Kang Q and the demon divine lord had already left, but they returned at this time. Boom! At this moment, a huge hand broke through the void and slammed down on Ji Yufei, who was on the top of the mountain. Towering divine flames rained down from the huge hand, burning the world and the void into oblivion. A wave of extreme supreme being appeared between heaven and earth, and everyone was stunned by the scene. Someone actually dared to attack Ji Yufei. Who could be so powerful? Even Mo Joyo, who was riding on the old bull, couldn't help but narrow his eyes when he saw the giant hand that emitted monstrous divine flames slamming down from the sky. It's Huju. Kang Q was inexplicably shocked. He naturally knew who was attacking Ji Yufei. That person was the ancestral god's heart that Ji Yufei had defeated in the fire domain, the Patriarch Huju. There was no doubt that Patriarch Huju was powerful. One should know that Patriarch Huju was a ruthless character who dared to lead countless ancestral god realm experts into the chaos demonic realm. Although Patriarch Huju was defeated in that battle, he also dragged his opponent down with him before he died. Kang Q and the demon divine lord immediately took action. The demon divine lord even soared into the sky and directly smashed the void into the chaos to fight with the guy who secretly attacked. Bang! A dull sound of impact was heard. The demon divine lord, who had rushed into the chaos, was sent flying out from the chaos with blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. This, seeing that even the demon divine lord was sent flying out, the other experts in the chaotic Golden Rock clan's ancestral land could not help but be shocked. The aura that emanated from the hand caused countless experts to bend their backs. Even the most arrogant person would have no choice but to lower their proud heads. Buzz. Just as the huge hand in the sky was about to land on the mountain top, the shadow of an ancient cauldron appeared on Ji Yufei's body. The shadow of the ancient cauldron immediately enveloped Ji Yufei. Boom. Chapter 3374. In the ancestral land of the chaotic Golden Rock clan. A big hand suddenly broke through the void and directly slammed down from the chaos towards a mountain below. Boom. A loud noise. The big hand fell. It actually blew up the entire mountain peak. The tyrannical power of the extreme Tao level spread in all directions. The ground cracked, forming hideous cracks. Dust rose high into the sky. It was as terrifying as the end of the world. All the experts who witnessed this scene were stunned. Whether it was the experts of the divine clan, or the experts of the demons. They were all in disbelief. How is this possible? Kang Q's face changed greatly. One had to know. The ancestral land of the chaotic Golden Rock clan was not an ordinary place. They could enter and leave at will. This ancestral land was covered by the extreme Tao formation. However, someone directly ignored the extreme Tao formation. He broke into the ancestral land and attacked Ji Yufei. He and the demon god attacked at the first moment. However, the demon god was directly sent flying by the guy hiding in the chaos. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. At this moment, Kang Q was also sent flying. He couldn't imagine. How long had it been? How could this guy be so powerful? Rumble, the void was shaking. The big hand that emitted monstrous divine flames dissipated in the void. Although the big hand disappeared, however, it turned into endless divine flames that swept out in all directions. Originally, it had been repaired. A region that had become full of vitality. It fell into a sea of fire in an instant. That divine flame could ignite anything it came into contact with. Even the void was burning. Everyone fled to the distance in horror. Damn it. Kang Q saw this scene. He was almost going crazy. This bastard. Kang Q gritted his teeth. He hated the Heavenly Fire clan to the core. This absolute flame was really going too far. He actually dared to fight in my place. That day, Jiu Fei attacked the ancestral land of the Skyfire clan. When old ancestor Huoju ran away. Although Kang Q was present. But he didn't make a move. He directly activated the peerless killing formation in the ancestor's land. The next moment, divine runes appeared in the void of the entire world. Countless divine patterns interweaved. They formed a series of ancient diagrams. Rumble, extreme Dao level power was quickly gathering. The entire ancestral land of the chaotic golden rock race suddenly changed color. The sun and moon lost their light. Dazzling bolts of lightning appeared in the void. It kept tearing the void of the world. This extreme Dao Grand Array was set up by Kang Q in the past. It could draw in the essence energy of the ancestral earth veins. He gathered the most powerful extreme Dao energy. The entire formation was like a master of the extreme Dao. It could unleash extreme Dao level attacks. Even against those pseudo-sovereigns with extreme Dao power. It was also very lethal. As the extreme Dao Grand Array was activated, the void that was enveloped by the extreme Dao Grand Array suddenly seemed like it was about to condense. Everyone felt a great pressure. Then, a ball of golden sun-like divine light appeared in the extreme Dao Grand Array. Then it smashed towards where old ancestor Huoju was. Boom! There was a loud sound. The void was directly smashed by that ball of golden light. That ball of golden light directly smashed into the chaos. It broke through the layers of chaos. It smashed towards the figure hidden in the chaos. However, that figure only stretched out a hand. He blocked the ball of golden light that was smashing towards him. However, the next moment, boom, there was a loud sound. That ball of golden light suddenly exploded. A terrifying destructive power suddenly erupted. In an instant, it enveloped the figure. What? The figure was clearly taken aback. But he only saw his body shake. It dispersed the destructive power that was about to obliterate it. Kang Q, the golden light dissipated. Old ancestor Huoju's figure appeared. There was a frightening murderous light in his eyes. Like a fierce beast that could devour people at any time. At this moment, in the ancestral land of the chaotic Golden Rock clan, the mountain where Jiu Fei was directly blasted by old ancestor Huoju. Everyone wanted to know what happened to Jiu Fei. Endless dust filled the air. But no one saw Jiu Fei rushing out from inside. They couldn't even feel Jiu Fei's aura. Is he dead? The demon god's mood was extremely complicated. He naturally wished that Xiao Chen would die quickly, so that he could regain his freedom. But once Xiao Chen died, no one could remove the restrictive spell on him. He was very clear. In this way, the restrictive spell on him, it had become his biggest hidden danger. No one knew if the restrictive spell would collapse. Once it did, there would be serious consequences. All of this was unpredictable. Hence, the demon god didn't want Jiu Fei to die. He was in such a mood. But it was extremely contradictory. Is Jiu Fei really dead? Kang Q frowned. He naturally didn't want Jiu Fei to die just like that. One had to know. He still needed Jiu Fei to restrain Mojoyo. With Jiu Fei, Mo Joyo didn't dare to be too presumptuous. One had to know. Only Jiu Fei could help him return to the Chaos Demon realm. To anger Jiu Fei. For Mo Joyo, there was no benefit. However, if Jiu Fei had really fallen, then the situation would immediately become uncontrollable. Mo Joyo would no longer have any scruples. He would do something. Even Kang Q and the demon god couldn't guess it. Huju, at this moment. But there was one person who was extremely angry. That person was Mo Joyo. He couldn't sense Jiu Fei's aura anymore. This made him shocked and angry. Of all the people present, he was the only one. He was the one who didn't want Jiu Fei to die just like that. He still needed to test Jiu Fei before he could return to the Chaos Demon realm. How dare you ruin my plans? I'm not done with you. Mo Joyo roared as he rode the old black bull and charged into the chaos. He instantly reached where Huju was. He was extremely overbearing. Madman Mo, what do you want? Huju ancestor naturally recognized Mo Joyo. Back then, they had fought before. But there was no clear winner. Haha, you're stupid. What else can I do? Naturally, I'm going to take your dog life. Mo Joyo laughed. Then he attacked. His right hand grabbed forward. The chaotic aura in front of him was immediately dispersed by the power ripples that surged out of his hand. At the same time, Huju ancestor felt his body tighten. He was enveloped by an invisible force. Then, he pulled himself forward. Roar! Huju ancestor roared. His body shook. 10 balls of divine fire immediately rushed out from his body. They smashed towards Mo Joyo. The 10 balls of divine fire were like 10 divine suns. The wave of power released shook the entire chaotic void. The boundless primal chaos was dispelled. Chapter 3375. Huju ancestor had only disappeared for a short period of time. Now that he had reappeared and displayed such a powerful battle prowess, it shocked the demon god and Kang Q. How did this guy's cultivation level suddenly increase so much? Demon Venerable God transmitted his voice to Kang Q. At that moment, Kang Q's face was extremely solemn. Could it be that Huju Great Ancestor still has a backup plan in the ancestral god realm? Otherwise, how could he? The reason why Kang Q thought this way was because he had also done the same thing. He had also left a backup plan in the ancestral god realm, but unfortunately, the person who stabbed him was his foster brother, and he knew everything about him like the back of his hand. Under such circumstances, it was useless even if Kang Q had a backup plan. However, Huju Great Ancestor was different. Although he was an extreme expert of the Hu clan, he had always been a loner and no one knew his actual strength. I heard that this guy died in the Chaos Demon realm back then. I can't believe he's still alive. Demon Venerable God said in shock. He had also experienced the turbulent era that swept through the entire ancestral god realm. However, he was still a small cultivator back then and it was not easy for him to survive. During that era, Huju Great Ancestor's strength was undeniable. Ph, this guy is like a haunting ghost. How could he die so easily? Kang Q stared at the powerful figure in front of him and said coldly. He had seen with his own eyes how Huju Great Ancestor escaped. Huju Great Ancestor fought with someone until only his heart was left. However, it seemed that Huju Great Ancestor had recovered a lot of his cultivation level and combat power. Boom! Bang! In the void in front of them, 2 figures charged out from the chaos. Wherever they went, the powerful impact caused the void to be annihilated. The 2 powerhouses were like 2 gods of destruction. Wherever they went, everything was obliterated. This was a battle between the power of the demon Tao and the power of the divine Tao. Waves of power at the extreme Tao level spread out. If it wasn't for the extreme Tao formation stabilizing this part of the void, the ancestral land of the chaotic Golden Rock clan would have been destroyed again. One had to admit that Mo Joyo's fierce name was not just for show. The Devil 9 Kills was an invincible demonic divine power. Shua. He disappeared into the void, leaving no traces behind. All of his aura had disappeared, shocking Ancestor Huju. Just as Ancestor Huju was bewildered, A hand silently appeared behind him and gently patted his back. In the next moment, Ancestor Huoju's physical body exploded into a bloody mist. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. No one had expected Mo Joyo to be able to destroy old Ancestor Huoju's body with a single palm. One should know that Huoju Ancestor was not a weakling. In the past, Huoju Ancestor was one of the strongest supreme god ancestors in the ancestral god realm. Rumble, at this moment, the cloud of blood mist in the sky was bursting with boundless flames. The power of the extreme divine way was erupting. In the next instant, the cloud of blood mist instantly converged together, and a powerful figure emerged from within the towering divine flames. Ancestor Huoju walked out from the divine flame. Mo Joyo, he stared at the empty space in front of him. There was nothing there, but he suddenly attacked. A flaming sword light immediately rushed out of his hand and pierced through the empty space. Mo Joyo's 9 kills, extermination. A voice was heard in the void. Then, a ball of black light spread out from the void in front of Ancestor Huoju. The ball of black light destroyed everything, even the void was destroyed by the black light. Nothing was left. In the next moment, Ancestor Huoju felt his vision go black. The universe seemed to have turned upside down. Then, he was surrounded by endless darkness. Forefather Huoju was shocked. He felt as though he had arrived in a void of absolute darkness. His divine power was being continuously devoured by this dark void. In an instant, he felt the divine source in his body being shaken. This made his face change. Mo Joyo, you bastard. Ancestor Huoju clenched his teeth and spat out a crimson fire bead. As soon as the bead appeared, it gave off boundless fiery light and lit up the surrounding darkness. He knew that if he did not pay a price, he would definitely not be able to escape. In the next moment, boom! With a loud bang, the divine bead that Huoju Ancestor spat out actually exploded. Although it was only the size of a thumb, the power that was released when it exploded was extremely powerful. It was the destructive power of the extreme Dao level. Rumble, the terrifying destructive power exploded and pierced through the dark void. The aura of the outside world seeped in. Ancestor Huoju naturally would not miss this opportunity. He charged out immediately. Just as Patriarch Huoju charged out of the dark void, a cold snort rang in his ears. In the next moment, he didn't even have the chance to scream before he was blasted into a bloody mist. The ball of blood mist did not disperse. Instead, it charged out and rapidly reformed. Flesh and blood regrew, and a figure appeared in the void once again. Ancestor Huoju was like a cockroach that could not be killed. Even if he was blasted into a ball of blood mist, he could still reform his body and recover instantly. However, the moment Ancestor Huoju reformed his body, a demonic needle pierced the center of his eyebrows. Roar! Ancestor Huoju shrieked. His body that had just reformed was instantly annihilated in the void again. A ball of divine light was nailed into the void by the demonic needle. God-killing demonic needle. Seeing this, Kang Q could not help but be shocked. It was a famous demonic weapon of demonic path, the God-killing demonic needle. This kind of needle specialized in destroying the soul. Once pierced, one's soul would definitely be destroyed. I will not die. A powerful spirit rippled from the ball of divine light. In the next moment, the ball of divine light exploded with a boom and turned into countless rays of divine light that shot out in all directions. HMPH, you want to escape? Did you ask me first? At this moment, a figure charged into the sky with an ancient cauldron. At the same time, the ancient cauldron in his hand vibrated. A heaven-devouring power immediately surged out from the ancient cauldron, sucking the scattered lights of soul into the cauldron. However, not all of the lights of soul were sucked into the cauldron. A few managed to escape. Chapter 3376. Huoju Ancestor attacked Jiyu Fei, but Jiyu Fei used the power of the cauldron of mountain and river to protect himself. Huoju Ancestor slammed him into the ground. When he came out of the ground, the battle between Huoju Ancestor and Mo Juyu had reached its climax. Mo Juyu used the murderous Demon 9. This was Mo Juyu's trump card and he wouldn't use it easily. Ji Fei hid at the side and wouldn't make a move easily. Only when Huoju ancestor was at a disadvantage did he find a rare opportunity to make a move. He soared into the sky and used the cauldron of mountain and river to take away Huoju ancestor's primordial spirit light. However, a few rays of primordial spirit light escaped. Preposterous. Ji Fei landed on the top of the mountain and his eyes flickered. Huoju ancestor still managed to escape, which made him very unhappy. If it wasn't for the cauldron of mountain and river, he would have been hit by Huoju ancestor's hand and died. No one from the Golden Crow clan dared to cause trouble, but Huoju ancestor jumped out. This was beyond Ji Fei's understanding. After beating Huoju ancestor away, Ji Fei went into seclusion again. This time, he didn't go into seclusion on the top of the mountain. Instead, he went to the depths of the Golden Rock clan's ancestral land and didn't come out. While Ji Fei was in seclusion, on one of the 5 ancestral planets, Crepe Myrtle Ancestral Star, the legendary Land of Immortals became lively. The Land of Immortals was about to appear. Countless cultivation forces on Crepe Myrtle Ancestral Star could no longer sit still. They constantly sent experts to watch the Land of Immortals. At this time, the Land of Immortals devoured the power of the divine sun in the day and the power of the divine moon at night. The depths of the land were filled with supreme immortal aura. The Ji clan on Crepe Myrtle Ancestral Star also sent many experts to the Land of Immortals. These people only watched from the outside and didn't dare to enter. One had to know that the Land of Ascension had devoured an extremely powerful cultivator before. Even now, no one knew what had happened back then. At this moment, the Flying Immortal City was being overseen by the Flying Immortal Monarch. No one dared to cause trouble in the Flying Immortal City. One has to know that the Flying Celestial King was one of the strongest cultivators in the Ji clan. To be able to become a city lord was not something an ordinary cultivator could do. Is the Land of Ascension really going to collapse? The Flying Immortal King stood in the void above the City Lord Manor and looked towards the Land of Flying Immortals. He saw that the entire area where the Land of Flying Immortals was located was enveloped in an immortal light. The immortal light disappeared as quickly as it came and soon dissipated in the void. After watching for a while, the Flying Immortal King flew down from the sky and entered the City Lord Mansion. Nothing much happened during the day. Even though the number of cultivators inside the Flying Immortal City had grown high, there were still countless cultivators rushing towards the Flying Immortal City from every direction. Soon, night fell and time passed. When the moon was in the middle of the sky, a loud noise came from the depths of the Land of Ascension. The stone tablet that stood in the Land of Ascension actually exploded. In the next moment, the place where the stone tablet stood collapsed. The ground was sinking and soon, a huge black hole appeared on the ground. Soon, the black hole emitted a gentle divine light of the immortal path. Rumble, the entire Land of Ascension shook and the ground cracked. Endless immortal light gushed out from the cracks, as if a supreme immortal lord had awakened from his slumber. Ha ha! I, Old Black, am finally free. Just as countless cultivators were in shock, a loud laugh came from the depths of the Land of Ascension. Soon, a figure rushed out from the huge hole in the depths of the Land of Ascension. Keep a low profile, Brother Black. A figure followed closely behind the black-robed young cultivator and rushed out of the big hole. Of these 2 individuals, the one who had laughed like ghosts and wolves was Hei Tian. As for the young man, he was Ji Changkong. Keep a low profile, my ass. I was trapped in that godforsaken place for so long. I almost suffocated to death. I was just looking for someone to talk about life and reason with. Hei Tian said disapprovingly. Didn't 2 unlucky guys come in and play with you for a while? Ji Changkong said. TCH, those 2 guys were too weak. They died not long after. I'm not happy about it. Now that I'm out, I'm going to play to my heart's content. Hei Tian said and rushed towards the direction of the Flying Immortal City. When Ji Changkong saw the situation, he could not help but shake his head before giving chase. After Hei Tian and Ji Changkong left, the immortal light in the Land of Ascension retreated like a receding tide and disappeared into the depths of the ground. In the next moment, the ground trembled and the hole in the ground collapsed. The entire land of Ascension disappeared once again, leaving a mess on the ground. When the cultivators outside the land of Ascension entered the area, it was already too late. They could not even sense a trace of immortal aura. What's going on? Is the land of Ascension destroyed? Many people exclaimed. They could not accept the fact that the land of Ascension had disappeared. At this moment, He Tian and Ji Changkong arrived at the gates of the flying immortal city. The gates were tightly shut and there were many soldiers standing guard on the towers. He Tian was a master of formations. He could see the situation of the flying immortal city with one look. The flying immortal city was enveloped by a huge battle. At this moment, the formation had already been activated. Even if it was He Tian, it would not be easy for him to enter the city. However, he flipped his right hand and a stone blade immediately appeared in his hand. He directly strode forward and arrived in front of the city gate. "Brother He, what are you doing?" When Ji Changkong saw He Tian's attitude, he immediately stepped forward, wanting to dissuade him. He did not wish for He Tian to have a conflict with the city lord. "What else?" "I'm going to break the formation." He Tian glanced at Ji Changkong. "Don't, the city lord of the flying immortal city is not our enemy. Why do we have to offend him and make enemies for no reason?" Ji Changkong quickly said. "Is that so? Then tell him to open the gates and let us in." He Tian said. "Where did this bastard come from?" Scram. At that moment, a voice suddenly rang out from the tower. A powerful cultivator, who appeared to be a divine general, was looking down at them from above. "What did you say?" Chapter 3377. He Tian and Ji Changkong were trapped in the real land of Ascension. After obtaining the Tao fruits from the land of Ascension, their cultivation and battle prowess had greatly increased. They were no longer the same as before. He Tian was not someone who could calm down easily. After being trapped in that godforsaken place for so many years, he was already extremely annoyed by Ji Changkong. In the past few years, he would look for Ji Changkong every few days and fight with him. However, after fighting with Ji Changkong for a long time, He Tian lost interest. Originally, when he tried to break the seal of the land of Ascension, he almost came out of that ghastly place. Who knew that two bastards would suddenly barge in and ruin his plans? One of them was called Yun Tianzhao, the other Ji Fan. Erebus was naturally happy to have a new playmate. However, Yun Tianzhao and Ji Fan were in a miserable state. The two of them were tortured by Erebus almost every day. After a few years, they died. These two were publicly acknowledged geniuses of the crepe myrtle ancestral star, yet they were toyed to death by He Tian. If news of this were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire world. One must know that Yun Tianzhao was a disciple of the human realm's crepe myrtle ancestral star's Yun clan. Ji Fan was a direct descendant of the Ji clan. They were both geniuses among geniuses. However, Ji Fan was Emperor Ji's son. Even if He Tian did not kill Ji Fan, Ji Changkong would definitely not let Ji Fan go. Moreover, no one knew that it was He Tian who toyed the two bastards to death in the land of Ascension. At this moment, outside the gates of the Ascension city, He Tian squinted his eyes and looked at the guy on top of the gate tower. His eyes flickered with a bright light. He saw that the guy shouting at them was a middle-aged general in armor. This middle-aged general was tall and had a full beard. His face was filled with killing intent, but he was a mighty general. The killing intent on his body was condensed from countless battles. However, in front of Erebus, who was an oddball, such a person was nothing but a shrimp. "What's wrong? You two beggar-like fellows are still not going to scram? Could it be that you want me to chase you away?" The general on the city gate tower said as he looked down at Erebus and Ji Changkong. "What? You're telling us to scram? Open your dog eyes and see who I am." Ji Changkong walked forward and stared coldly at the general on the tower. He was just a guard, yet he dared to be so impudent in front of him. He really did not know his place. "TCH, I don't care who you are. Just scram obediently. Otherwise, I'll destroy both your body and soul." The general on the city gate tower said disdainfully. "Damn it, call the flying immortal king out to see me." Ji Changkong was truly enraged. He had never seen such a blind person before. "Ha ha! Little fellow, who do you think you are? Do you think a small character like you is qualified to meet our Lord City Lord?" The general on the city gate tower laughed out loud, and the soldiers beside him also laughed out loud. "This fellow actually wants to meet the city lord. He's simply insane," another soldier said in agreement. "Ji Changkong, I'll kill these watchdogs. You don't have any objections, right?" He Tian suddenly turned his head and smiled at Ji Changkong, revealing his white teeth. "Whatever." Ji Changkong was also angered by the general on the city gate tower. This fellow was so arrogant. It seemed like he was used to acting like a tyrant. "What? You actually dare to call us dogs?" The general on the city gate tower was furious. He directly took a large bow from a soldier beside him and pulled out a sharp arrow. He narked the arrow and shot it towards He Tian below the city gate tower. The black arrow turned into a black light and shot down from the city gate tower. In an instant, it arrived in front of He Tian. However, in the next moment, the black light stopped in front of He Tian's forehead. What? When the full-bearded general on the city gate tower saw this, his eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. He saw that the fellow below, dressed in rags, had actually used 2 fingers to catch the black arrow he shot out. "My lord, this..." When the soldiers beside the general saw this, they were also stunned. It must be known that the other party had used 2 fingers to catch the arrow shot by their lord. The other party actually had such an ability. It seemed like their lord had kicked an iron board today. "It's impolite not to reciprocate. I'll return it to you." He Tian laughed evilly. Then, he released the black arrow. Before the black arrow fell to the ground, he stretched out his hand and flicked the arrowhead. The shaft of the arrow immediately shattered, and the arrowhead shot towards the general on the city gate tower. The arrowhead pierced through a layer of transparent force field, and a slight ripple spread out in the void like water. Phut! There was a soft sound, and a flower of blood bloomed on the general's shoulder. The arrowhead had pierced through the general's right shoulder, and then through a wooden pillar behind him. The general screamed in agony, and his entire body was sent flying backwards. He crashed heavily into the wall behind him, and then rolled on the ground, his helmet rolling to one side. The few soldiers on the city gate tower were dumbfounded by the scene before them. "Chimph, you don't know what's good for you. You lot, hurry up and open the city gates and let us in," He Tian said loudly in front of the city gate tower. He could already tell that the entire city had been enveloped by an activated formation, and the only way in was through the city gates. Of course, who was He Tian? He was a formation grandmaster. Although the formation before him was extraordinary, it was not unbreakable. It would just take a lot of time. However, when the soldiers on the city gate tower heard He Tian's words, they immediately woke up from their shock. They screamed, threw away their weapons, and ran away. What kind of soldiers are these? What kind of generals are these? Does your Ji clan raise a bunch of useless people? He Tian crossed his arms and said disdainfully, "I just came out of the flying immortal land, how would I know?" Ji Changkong shrugged and said helplessly. The Ji clan was the #1 clan in the ancestral Myrtle Star, and also the strongest faction. There were many birds in the forest, and there were naturally all kinds of birds. It was normal for some people to bully others. At this moment, a black shadow rushed out of the flying immortal city. The experts in the city had noticed He Tian's movements outside the city. Very soon, a black-clothed, black-bearded, middle-aged cultivator appeared on the city gate tower. When the middle-aged cultivator saw the guard who had fainted on the ground, he could not help but become serious. One had to know that a person who could injure the gatekeeper general through the force field of the Great City Barrier Array was definitely not simple. He was definitely an expert. "Who are you? Why did you injure my guard?" The middle-aged cultivator stood on the city gate tower and looked down at He Tian and Ji Changkong. "Ji Changkong, I think you haven't been back for too long. These guys actually don't recognize you," He Tian said to Ji Changkong. Ji Changkong did not say anything. He just stood there quietly, very calm. Ji Changkong. When the black-clothed middle-aged cultivator heard He Tian's words, his expression immediately changed. His legs went soft, and his body swayed, almost falling to the ground. He tried his best to calm himself down. "You really are Ji Changkong." The middle-aged cultivator's voice trembled. He looked at the shabbily clothed young man in disbelief. The other party was too young, he could not believe it. Ji Changkong was the genius of the Ji clan 10,000 years ago. Even now, people would occasionally mention this genius. It's actually true. Ji Changkong actually returned. A huge wave rose in the middle-aged cultivator's heart. This time, the Ji clan would have a good show to watch. Once Ji Changkong truly returned, the Ji clan would definitely be in an upheaval. It should be known that the current clan head of the Ji clan, Emperor Ji, was one of the popular candidates for the position of clan head. However, Ji Changkong had a higher chance of becoming the clan head than him. However, Ji Changkong was lost in the primal chaos world. After losing his strongest competitor, Emperor Ji had the opportunity to become the clan head. In the Ji clan, there was a rumor that Ji Changkong was lost in the primal chaos world because he fell into Emperor Ji's trap. In order to become the clan head of the Ji clan, Emperor Ji did not hesitate to secretly make a move against Ji Changkong. This caused Ji Changkong to be lost in the primal chaos world. Of course, this was only a rumor. Whether it was true or not, no one knew. However, now that Ji Changkong had returned, the situation was different. Do I need to pretend to be someone else? I have met the Flying Immortal King once before. Go and call the Flying Immortal King out. We will know if it's true or false. Ji Changkong said indifferently. Yes, yes, yes. I will go and call the city lord immediately. The middle-aged cultivator quickly turned around and left. However, just as the middle-aged cultivator in black left, a mysterious figure silently walked out from the forest in the distance. He pounced towards Ji Changkong like a ghost. Swoosh! Ji Changkong suddenly disappeared from where he was. In the next moment, a huge pit appeared where he stood. A gloomy aura of destruction spread out in the air. Divine yin lightning. When He Tian saw this, his eyes immediately lit up. This type of divine lightning was also known as soundless divine lightning. Its specialty was that when this type of divine lightning was used, it could be soundless, colorless, and untraceable. 9 revolutions of the heavenly art. Ji Changkong's voice came from the sky. He immediately sensed danger. He directly rushed up to the sky and executed the 9 revolutions of the heavenly art. Boom! A huge seal that exuded a terrifying aura of annihilation immediately appeared in the void. Like a huge mountain, it smashed down towards the black shadow below. Quasi-supreme level energy fluctuations rippled out from the giant seal, shaking the entire world and causing pitch-black spatial cracks to appear. What? Chapter 3378. Ancestral God Realm, East Continent. Deep in the ancestral land of the Chaos Golden Rock Clan, Ji Yufei's place of seclusion was shrouded in chaotic aura, as if a chaotic world was being nurtured. At this time, the place where Ji Yufei was cultivating had become a forbidden area. No one dared to approach it. With the demon god and the 3 rock demons guarding it, it was impossible for anyone to approach it. After Ji Yufei went into seclusion, Kang Q began to take over the Golden Crow clan's territory with the ancestral land as the center. However, the Chaos Golden Rock clan was not the only one in the entire East Continent. The 4 clans that originally dominated the East Continent were the Golden Crow, the Mysterious Snake, the Heaven God, and the Earth Spirit. Now that the Golden Crow clan was defeated by the Chaos Golden Rock clan, the Golden Crow clan's position in the East Continent was naturally replaced by the Chaos Golden Rock clan. The Golden Crow clan was the most powerful clan among the 4 powerful clans. Naturally, the territory of the Golden Crow clan was also the largest among the 4 powerful clans. Although the Chaos Golden Rock clan had replaced the Golden Crow clan, it was the result of Kang Q borrowing the strength of the demons from beyond the heavens. Therefore, the crime of colluding with the demons was not a small one. One should know that the demons from beyond the heavens were the enemies of the entire ancestral god realm. The other experts of the East Continent were furious that Kang Q dared to join forces with Mo Joyo to attack the ancestral land of the Golden Crow clan. In an instant, the atmosphere of the entire East Continent became extremely tense. Countless spies from various forces had gathered outside the ancestral land of the Chaos Golden Rock clan. Any movement of the Chaos Golden Rock clan would be immediately known by the forces of the East Continent. Kang Q had begun his campaign. The real turmoil of the entire East Continent had just begun. The Dusk Snake, the Celestial God, and the Land Spirit were also on the move. The territory left behind by the Golden Crows was definitely a juicy piece of meat that everyone wanted to take a bite out of. The Earth Spirit clan, in particular, took advantage of their advantages and directly occupied more than 10 cities that originally belonged to the Golden Crow clan, seizing control over a large area. Seeing that the Earth Spirit clan was trying to steal the Golden Crow clan's city, the leaders of the other two clans couldn't sit still. The Celestial Deity clan and the Dusk Snake clan had occupied several territories that had originally belonged to the Golden Crow clan. If Kang Q didn't make a move soon, he would have to hand over the territories he'd worked so hard to conquer. Kang Q would never do such a thing, nor would he allow such a thing to happen. As for the otherworldly demons led by Mo Joyo, they wouldn't help Kang Q anymore. Therefore, Kang Q could only rely on the chaotic Golden Rock clan to reclaim the lost land. Mo Joyo was the leader of the otherworldly demons, so he naturally didn't put Kang Q in his eyes. Only Jiu Fei could make this old demon feel apprehensive. Soon, the Eastern Continent was filled with the clouds of war. Kang Q could be considered a powerful figure. He defeated the experts of the Earth Spirit clan by himself and drove the Undead Spirit clan away. However, the Earth Spirit clan wasn't to be trifled with. After Kang Q drove the Earth Spirit clan away, he no longer had the strength to deal with the Dusk Snake clan and the Celestial Deity clan. Kang Q couldn't completely take over the territories left behind by the Golden Crow clan. Of course, this was only temporary. While Jiu Fei was in seclusion, Hei Tian and Ji Changkong ran into trouble outside the flying celestial city controlled by the Ji clan on the Myrtle clan's ancestral star in the human world. Someone took advantage of the dark night to launch a sneak attack on Ji Changkong, who was in front of the city gate. However, Ji Changkong had obtained the Dao fruit from the real land of Flying Celestial. His cultivation had already broken through to the quasi-supreme realm. The moment the mysterious person attacked him, he sensed danger. He immediately soared into the sky and unleashed the 9 revolutions heaven art. He conjured a great destruction seal and attacked the person who launched a sneak attack on him. Rumble, the black seal was like a demonic mountain. It fell from the sky. The space below the seal shook violently. Then, it collapsed and shattered. It turned into a terrifying destructive power that surged towards the mysterious person. The mysterious person was shocked. He knew that he was going to be unlucky tonight. He shouldn't have attacked so rashly. A huge seal shrouded the void below, and the vast and mighty power of a quasi-supreme being instantly sealed off all the escape routes of the mysterious man. The seal in the sky had yet to reach him, but the mysterious person already felt a huge pressure. It was as if a huge mountain was suddenly pressing down on him. His feet had already sunk into the ground. Raw. That person desperately circulated the power in his body, stubbornly holding on. However, his clothes were already drenched in sweat. No matter how hard he struggled, in the next moment, the huge seal directly smashed down from the sky. With a bang, that guy was directly smashed into the ground. At this moment, a figure rushed out from the flying celestial city. "Nephew Changkong, where are you?" A voice rang out from within the city. At the same time, the tightly shut city gate slowly opened, and a pale-faced middle-aged man dressed in black walked out from within. This pale-faced middle-aged man was the city lord of the flying celestial city, the flying celestial king, Ji Xuanji. The flying celestial king, Ji Xuanji, was an expert from the older generation of the Ji clan. In terms of seniority, Ji Xuanji was Ji Changkong's uncle. Of course, he wasn't Ji Changkong's biological uncle. In the Ji clan, seniority was very clear. Everyone had their own status. The flying celestial king, Ji Xuanji, was Ji Changkong's senior. This was an unchangeable fact. At this moment, the great destruction seal that smashed the mysterious person into the ground dissipated into the air and disappeared. "You dare to sneak attack me? It'll be hard for you to die even if you want to." Ji Changkong directly flew down from the sky. He saw that the mysterious person was completely flattened in the huge pit created by the seal. However, he didn't die. He was still groaning in pain. As expected, it's nephew Changkong. Please follow me into the city. At this moment, the pale-faced middle-aged man that walked out from the city walked over. Uncle, how have you been? Ji Changkong smiled as he looked at the flying celestial king, Ji Xuanji. He was somewhat surprised that Ji Xuanji would personally come out to greet him. Just what was going on? Haha, uncle is doing very well. I reckon that I can still live for tens of thousands of years. Ji Xuanji laughed loudly. Uncle, please wait a moment. I'll deal with this guy first. As Ji Changkong spoke, he extended his hand and grabbed the guy in the pit, who no longer looked like a human, and lifted him up by the collar. Then, he tore off the guy's mask. It's you, Ji Wu. When the flying celestial king saw this person, he couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Ji Wu, I didn't think that you would actually stand on the side of that despicable and shameless Emperor Ji. Now, you still want to kill me? Very good, very good. Ji Changkong's face was gloomy. He stared at the guy in his hand and clenched his teeth. Mitch, the winner is the king, the loser is the thief. Since I've failed today, I've been captured by you. If you want to kill me or torture me, do as you please. That guy called Ji Wu said with a resolute expression. When Ji Changkong and He Tian first arrived at the Myrtle Ancestral Star, Emperor Ji received the news and sent assassins to get rid of Ji Changkong. However, by the time Ji Wu arrived at the Flying Celestial City, Ji Changkong and He Tian had already entered the true land of Flying Celestial. This Ji Wu was quite patient. He actually didn't leave the Flying Celestial City. Tonight, Ji Wu finally met his target, Ji Changkong. If he could kill Ji Changkong, Emperor Ji would definitely reward him handsomely. However, Ji Wu never imagined that Ji Changkong's cultivation had already broken through to the quasi-supreme realm, becoming the strongest existence in the world. It's very easy to die, but I won't let you die so easily. Ji Changkong sneered. Damn it. Ji Changkong, kill me if you have the guts. Ji Wu was enraged. Nephew Changkong, we're family after all. Let's just forget about it. The Flying Celestial City's city lord, Ji Xuanji, said. Unfortunately, they don't treat me as family. Ji Changkong let out a sigh. Stop chattering and do it. At this moment, He Tian also walked over and said. Ji Changkong thought for a moment, then stretched out his left hand and slapped the top of Ji Wu's head, using a tyrannical force to scatter Ji Wu's primordial spirit. The palm landed on the top of Ji Wu's head, and blood immediately flowed out of Ji Wu's 7 orifices and he died. Even the Flying Celestial King was surprised to see Ji Changkong actually kill Ji Wu with one slap. One must know that this fellow was Ji Wu. H, you got lucky. Ji Changkong waved his right hand and threw Ji Wu's corpse on the ground. Let's go, let's enter the city. The Flying Celestial City's city lord said to Ji Changkong. En. Ji Changkong nodded before following behind Ji Xuanji into the city. He Tian naturally followed. This is, the Flying Celestial King, Ji Xuanji, said as he led the way. My brother, He Tian. Ji Changkong said. He Tian. Ji Xuanji muttered to himself when he heard Ji Changkong's words. There was no cultivator named He Tian on the Myrtle Star. This He Tian was probably from another planet. Very soon, Ji Changkong and the others arrived at the gates of the city lord's residence. When they arrived, someone opened the gates and welcomed them in. Under Ji Xuanji's guidance, Ji Changkong and He Tian arrived at the main hall of the city lord's residence. The Flying Celestial King, Ji Xuanji, sat on the throne, while Ji Changkong and He Tian sat below him. At this moment, Ji Changkong felt that something must have happened to his uncle. Otherwise, he wouldn't have received them so warmly.